Hey, yeah! Oh, I had to get the old pair of chopsticks and get rid of that. That was. I need a big swig of tea now. Hang on, big swig. Oh, big tea. Oh. I don't know who put that there, but I'll slap them later. Oh, hey everyone, it's Fox from modelmaking.guru here. Hello, and welcome to another Sunday. It is Warhammer Sunday. It is that time of the week when normally... I'm trying to get my chair in the right position here. It's fighting me all the way. Normally, it's that time of week when I normally work on my Warhammer army, the Unending Forces of the Holy Contrivance, a Principality of Xeon themed army, hence the title picture just then. But at the moment I've taken a little diversion because I am trying to work my way through all my Warhammer Conquest backlog and just get them all built so I can have them out of the way, ready for painting later in the year. But I'm taking a diversion again from that today because I've got to finish this thing. Yes. If you remember, I'm working on the Master Grade Cesabi for George. It's a Patreon reward build, and I'm going to do a Borderlands colour scheme. And I've been testing it out on this, and I just need to do some quick basing, so I thought I'll do this on the live stream today. So we'll get that done. So how is everybody? I hope you're all well. If you've not seen one of these before, it's dead simple. I sit here and do almost pretty much no work for 3 hours and waffle at you guys. And then you guys just hang out and chat and talk to each other. And that's really what this is about. It's more about you guys hanging out and chat and having a good time, and very little to do with actually what I'm doing on the desk here. So yeah, don't look at the man behind the curtain or in front of the curtain or anywhere near the curtain. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay. I might have got the white balance a bit bright today, but I don't know. Let me know if it's too explodey, and I can always tone it down a bit. I've got the gamma a bit higher. Heat wave in the UK is over, so no explosions today. I won't be melting into the background, thankfully. Now, if you've not watched one of these before, as I say, it's dead straightforward. This is just you guys hanging out in the live chat. If you're watching this and you can't... I'm going to move this out of the way before I break it with my wavy hands. If you're watching this and you can't see the live chat, you can see some chat here, but if you can't see the live chat where you can do the typey, it's vitally important that you actually join in the live chat. Why? Because I'm going to give stick away. It's a good sticker. Hang on, words are broken. Tea needed. I'm going to give away stickers later on, and you need to be in the live chat to win stickers. So there you go. Also, it's kind of fun. Everybody in chat is cool, and everybody hanging out in chat is awesome, and they're all good mates. So do come and join in. If you want to ask me a question, and for the love of dog, do. If you want to speak to me directly, I've got the chat just here off to the side on my iPad. Excuse me, I did... wow, hang on, clearing my throat. There we go, 2 minutes in and I'm clearing my throat. Do shout out to me in chat. I will converse to you all day long. If you want to ask me a question, you can do. Just put your comment in big fat capital letters so I have a chance of seeing it. I guess it's just there to the side. If you want to, though, you can do a super chat, which is the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That will put your comment in a big colour box and also will make a noise and animation up in the corner of the screen here. I won't have any choice but to see your comment. I can't possibly miss it if you do that. And that's how you can get noticed there. Now, what else was I going to say? As always, Stream Boss Battle is still ongoing, as you can see. It says Model Making Guru, but the current Stream Boss is Simon Reynolds, who's in chat, also known as Kevin, our Lord and Saviour Kevin. I kind of broke it, that's why it says me. Kevin is our current Stream Boss. The way Stream Boss Battle works, if you've not seen this before, is you guys all try and get the current Stream Boss off the throne. You try and dethrone him, and whoever gets him to 0 health, this is his health bar, whoever gets him to 0 health not only becomes the new Stream Boss, but also can win between 200 to 500 quid or worth of Warhammer or even tabletop gaming stuff. How does it work? Dead simple. To get Simon's health down, to get Kevin's health down to 0, you can either simply subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. If you're not already subscribed, that'll take a tiny bit of his health off. You can use the super chat. Remember, it's the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. Or you can do a tip through the tip jar, which is streamlabs.com/modelmakingguru. The address is down here. The more you put through as a tip or a super chat, the more health is taken off. And all the money raised through the super chats and the tips goes into a big pot. And if you become the stream boss, you win that pot. I have changed things a little bit. Originally, you can use that money then to order stuff from Games Workshop or Forge World. You can now, however, also if you're in a location where they ship to, you can order from Goblin Games as well. Just to let you know, obviously this channel is supported by Goblin Games, and because they give a 20% off Warhammer stuff and Games Workshop stuff and other things, you can probably get a bit more by ordering it through them. But it depends where you are in the world, so you can order as much as you want. I will tell you how much you win, and then you tell me what you want, and I order it for you, and it arrives on your doorstep free of charge. So there you go. So yes, we have one already. Alex Modelling has put through a little super chat. Thank you very much, Alex. You can see a little blue. There you go. See, I'm psychic. I saw it before it appeared. Thank you very much, Alex. Just because you really deserves it, he says. Thank you very much. You're very kind. I love you deeply. There you go. But I'm not having your babies, but I do thank you almost that much. Yes, so there you go. That's how Super Chat works. So yes, you can order. I tell you how much you win, and then you tell me what you want, and I order it for you. So that's how that works. So get your tips and Super Chats and subscriptions going through. Now, I said it wasn't warm today. I said it wasn't warm. Kevin, Simon says, £2, not even a scratch. Yeah. I don't know how much health it took off him. He's still got. The good thing about this though is normally with Stream Boss, whoever is the Stream Boss can also do a super chat or a tip themselves and put their health back up again. Because I messed it up and it shows me as the Stream Boss, Simon can't put his own health back. He can't. If Simon does a super chat or a tip, he'll take some of his own health off, instead of being able to actually boost his health back and mess with your minds. So take advantage of that. He can't restore health to himself. Only I can do that, and I'm not about to super chat or tip myself. There you go. Yeah. So yes, anyway, it's Heatwave Britain is gone. It's back to 12 degrees and wet and rainy today, so I'm not getting although it's getting a bit warm in here with the lights on, but it'll be fine. So yes, it's after the heat wave. I couldn't really get a lot of work done, but that's gone now. And some people have said 30 odd degrees, that's not a heat wave. You have to remember, a heat wave definition is really, if I remember rightly, it's something like an average of 3 to 5 degrees over the norm for that time of year, for that location. So if you live in, I don't know, Saudi Arabia or the Sahara Desert, 32, 33 degrees isn't really a heat wave. But if you live in Britain, where the average summer temperature is like 10 degrees and it's wet, then yeah, trust me, 30 degrees is a heat wave. And we're not used to it. We're not acclimatized to it because we don't get that kind of heat. If we had that kind of heat every summer for weeks and weeks, it'd be nothing. We'd be used to it. Our bodies would adjust, and you know, your body does adjust to certain temperatures. But because we don't get that, we just go and the country falls apart, and we all kind of fall over and go, I can't get up, I've fallen over, and then it goes away, and we're happy again. So there you go. So anyway, yes, we're back to normal now. So let's have a quick look at chat. See who is in. Now, I won't have all the chat here. I can't go all the way back to the start. However, I do know that Pascal was first about 5 hours ago when I set up the stream. The first person I have is Candygram for Mongo. Welcome, Candygram. Candygram is saying it's 26 degrees there, 35 degrees centigrade later. I don't know where you are, Candygram, though. I'm guessing you're not in the UK, possibly. I can't remember where you are, I should say. Walter Wilmoth is in. Welcome, Walter. Hello, all you beautiful people, and those not so beautiful. Hope all is well. All is well, dude. Lynn Dipple is in. Hey, Lynn. Lynn's not working today, so she can finally join the stream. And she says she might even finally win a sticker. Yeah, we might just finagle it a bit so you get a sticker, Lynn. We'll see how that goes, eh? Hey. Let's have a look. Dad is in. One of your mods, Dad. Dad is a lovely, 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 lovely fella. He'll always look out for you. He'll keep you safe in the chat. If you cross him, he'll break your spine with a look into 5 parts, and you'll just be this gibbering, boneless chicken on the floor. But that's only if you cross him. If you don't cross him, he's a lovely, lovely fella. Our current stream boss, Kevin, or Simon Reynolds, is in chat. He talking about lucky varnishes. Si, I read the comments you said about the Vallejo varnishes. Send me a message on Facebook to remind me, because I need to get me some of that. I've got the ammo. We'll talk about that in a minute. Remind me in chat in about 10 minutes to talk about the varnishes. But we'll talk about that. Yeah, I've used the ammo varnishes and I'm having the same problem. So I need to get a new airbrush matte varnish. So send me a message on Facebook to remind me what the hell you said, which one it is, the Vallejo one, and I'll have to get myself some. Who else do we have? We have... Pascal, of course, is in, but he was in hundreds of hours ago. Everybody's talking about that Mankini. If you haven't watched it, when you finish watching this, do go and check out the mailbag video from this week where I received that from Chris over at Gross Models, and some other cool things. And you just, yeah. No, I didn't wear it. It has not been worn, not by me at least. I can't vouch for when it was Chris's. I've no idea. I'm kind of hoping it's never has been. Mordraka is in. Welcome, Mordraka. And Quano Man, of course. Let's have a look. Mordraka says, time to go make those huge cups of hot drink for those who need them. Who else do we have? We have Redlen08. Afternoon all. Welcome, Redlen. Welcome. We have David Sanderson. Good afternoon all. Welcome, David. David's just primed a load of Warhammer stuff. You mustn't have rain there then. I was going to go and matte varnish that little vehicle today, and I was like, oh wait, no, it's rain. Oh. So the 2 or 3 days when it was hot and sunny, I had nothing to do that I could do outside anyway. And then the moment I have something to do, it goes back to normal weather. Typical. Lynn was having some problem with the screen freezing and going blurry. It's probably something at your ending because nobody else was. So I don't know if it's your telly screen or I don't know. I think your broadband maybe. But do let me know if you're watching this and you have issues with the audio or the video. Do let me know, because the thing is, if you've never done a live stream, what you don't realise is I have no idea what you're seeing. Pretty much. I mean, I can see. You know, I'm looking at my computer monitor over to the side. And I can see what you're seeing here on the telly, but the only thing I've got is a list of dropped frames, and it says whether I'm streaming or not. If I've got lots and lots and lots of dropped frames, I know there's a problem. But I don't know what you're getting. So always let me know if you're having problems with the audio or the video, because I won't necessarily know. Thankfully, like Chris and Dad and that lot usually drop me a text message when things fall over. So Ghost Lyle says pineapple. Yes. Welcome, Ghost Lyle. Lindipple replies with much the same. We have... Who do we have? Do we have new names? Where are they all? You've been very chatty in the chat this morning, this afternoon, so I'm trying to find the next person that came in. Vasily, there we go. Vasily's in just in time. Welcome, Vasily. Nim is in. Welcome, Nim. Let's have a look. We have David Sanderson says, hey Fox, how's the toes? The toes are fine and dandy. I have to tell you, if you don't know this, another little aside. Oh yeah, if you've not seen one of these shows before, the first half hour is me just catching up with everybody. So I don't actually do that much work. Not this week, just the week before, I broke 2 toes, apparently. Went to the hospital, got them bound up with a bit of padding and some tape, and they just said, you know, keep them elevated and, you know, keep your weight off them. And I've been wearing a sneaker on one foot, my Converse sneakers, just to keep it protected and safe. I've got to tell you, the nurse is like, oh, I don't need to x-ray this. I know this is broken. I can tell because I'm an expert and I can use my eyes of seeing. And this is a broken two broken toes. You must do this, this and this. And I learned 2 things. Well, 2 things happened. First of all, I had obviously had a shower at one point and I had to rebind them up again. And it's actually really hard to bind your own toes with the gauze and the tape. She gave me tape and stuff. It's actually really hard to get in there and get the tape around your toes. It's not easy. Not when you've got a bit of a belly like I have in your middle age. It's like, oh, can't reach my feet. But I've got to tell you, considering I've got theoretically 2 broken toes, not really that painful anymore. After a day or 2, I was just kind of walking around as normal. I mean, you know, if I couldn't move the toes as much, and I was wearing my sneaker all the time, but not really. And now it's like a week and a half later, I'm kind of just back to normal. Although I'm unconsciously keeping my toes, when I'm walking, I'm keeping my toes up a little bit just to keep them, because they're still bound. But it's like, if this is a fracture, it's kind of the easiest fracture I've ever had. I've had arms in slings that give me pain for weeks, and this is like 2 broken toes. I've got to walk on them all the time. They're not really hurting me anymore. So I'm wondering if I even actually broke my toes. I'm thinking maybe I just kind of bruised them or sprained them, and I don't know. If this is a fracture, it's the easiest fracture I've ever had. Tell you. Let's have a look. Dad says it's cold and damp here today. Nim's asking, talking about the weather. Yes, it's about 12 or 13 degrees today, and it's raining. All the wood pigeons outside look really skinny and damp and like drowned rats. Who else do we have? Thy creator is in. Hello world. I'll just write your name on the stickers now, shall I? Let's have a look. Vasily says, I know I actually got a tan this year. Alex Modelling is in, as we know, because he put a super chat through. Welcome, Alex Modelling. Skullfish is in. He gets a special pronunciation, does Skullfish. Skullfish is in. Snowman HFC and Wayne Haywood are in. Chris at Gross Models. Wait, he's not wearing it. Is he naked? You won't know. See, I'm not wearing anything on my arm. Look. What about the rest of me? How about the other arm? Yes, also naked. What about the rest of me? You'll never know. For once, the iPad's over there, so you don't even get any reflections. I could be wearing many things. I could be wearing nothing. How do you know? How will you ever know? Just a reminder, by the way, this stream is nothing to do with my other channel sponsors, eModels, so you can be as raucous as you want in the chat. You can do the swearings and the rude words. I don't care. It's monetized, but that's only if I swear it gets knackered. So swear as much as you like in the chat. I don't care. We're all grown-ups now. Let's have a look. Not sure what chat's doing. Who else do we have? We have Interzone88. Hi Fox, hi Dad, hi all. Welcome Interzone. G'day. G'day. Chat just jumped, so I've lost everything. We have I think Vasily and Alex talking about Warhammer, which is funnily enough Warhammer your next thing, and then Alex, or Warhammer Armour, and Alex says I like it but I've never done one. You could means you won't. The king of excuse, says Alex. The Print Guru. Oh, Print Guru's in. Welcome, Print Guru. JS Idaho. Welcome, Idaho. JS. Vasily says, I'm still debating Baneblade is the one they keep telling me to get. Did I show you the Baneblade last week or the week before? I did get one. I can go through the box and show you what's in the box if you want. Let me know in the chat. I'll have to move the camera around a bit, but let me know in the chat. Lynn Dipple says, I want to see Fox in the mankini. You don't. You really don't want to see me in the mankini. Just trust me on that. I've got Scottish knees. I'm half Scottish, half Irish. There's not much you want to see there in a mankini. Trust me on that. My skin colour is pallid and confused. I'm half Irish, half Scottish, so I'm basically confused and pallid. That's my basic makeup. Let's have a look. Who else? We've got anybody else come in? Simon Reynolds has sent me some things about the varnishes. Good man, thank you very much. George Gabriel is in. Welcome, George. Another one of your mods. So we've got Chris, George, and Chris, George, and Dad as your mods. It's okay, I have arrived. You may start now, says George. Well, thank you very much. Naked, beware reflections. Yes, that's why my iPad's over there. So Kevin says Fox has 3 widgets. I have all the widgets. Fox, don't go putting a shiny tea kettle on that mat. God, that's just given me a massive flashback to the old days of eBay, the early days of eBay, when there was this big trend. If people don't get that reference, way back in the beginning days of eBay, there was this sudden trend for people to sell reflective items like teapots and car wing mirrors and things, and not like a reflective mirror, but like anything that had a shine that could reflect, because they'd basically post a photograph of the item. The innocent had like an inoffensive teapot, like a metal shiny teapot, but the whole point was that they would be reflected in the teapot. They'd be naked and reflected in it, and you wouldn't notice unless you looked closely. And it was this thing that on eBay that went on for a while. It must have been like early 2000s. So you get people saying, teapot blob, and it'd be a completely innocent listing, but if you looked closely at the picture, you'd be like, there's a naked bloke in that. And they would, yeah. It's weird. I don't know where that came from. I didn't do that myself, no. Jerry says, damn, yet another quick hi and bye from me today. Hey, Jerry. Bye, Jerry. Jerry is the chap who sent me the disintegrator, the Scorpius disintegrator kit that I got when I got the other thing from Chris. Again, if you want me to go through that box, let me know. I'm happy to give you little unboxings and show you. Half Scottish, half Irish, so you have the best of 2 worlds, Alex, says Alex. Yeah, confused and... hang on, what's the best way to describe it? How do I normally describe it? Just confused and pallid, basically. Confused and allergic to daylight. Jerry says, building the office currently, but should be around for the evening stream though, Chris. I see. Favoritism, I don't know. Candygram says, I just knew Fox would get the teapot reference. Yeah, it's just, we've been around on the internet since the late 90s. You know all these things. Like, the Neiman Marcus cookie recipe and there's all these kind of things. Show us the mankini again. Oh, hang on. Oh, do you want me to... No, I'm not using my good tweezers that Alex sent me. That Kenneth sent me even. I'm going to have to get some cheap disposable chopsticks, so I don't want to sully my tweezers. He just wants to get a free plug. There you go, the free plug for gross models. I don't know how good a plug on a mankini is for your channel though, Chris. I nearly touched it with my finger then, but not quite. What does it say on the label? 30% cotton, 10% spandex, 72% sheer embarrassment, but you'll never actually wear it anyway. Manufacturer is the Jianyun Town Fashion Paris Garment Factory, Yishan Town, Gyeongyun County. I don't know where that is. Wash separately, professional dry clean recommended. Really, you take this to a dry cleaner's, a public place, and get some... Oh, you'd have to wear it to do that, and I'm never going to... I'm going to put it over there and it touched something I'm probably going to use at some point. It touched my phone. Oh, I've got to put that... Hang on. I've got to put that phone near my ear. Hang on. I've got to... Shudder. Chris, I hate you to bits, but I also love you to bits. You're a spoon. Just Django is in. Welcome, Just Django. Not going to be building anything today while watching the stream. Make sure you use the hazmat gloves for that fox. Woohoo, says Lynn. And 100% sexy, says Walter. Yeah, you may be lying to get me to wear it. Yeah. Right, so, big swig of tea. Tea today, I'm afraid, not coffee. So, yeah, so today, we're going to finish up on this. Now, just about finished filming episode 2 of this. Episode 1 came out the other day, and if you're not sure what this is, basically, George, who's in the chat, is one of my patrons. He's one of my lovely, lovely patrons, as are many of you in there. And he's one of my top tier patrons. So what I do for my top tier patrons, I reward them after 12 months of support at that level. I reward them with a build, fully painted and weathered professional build. And for George, I am building the master grade version Kotoki Sazabi. But I'm going to give it, first of all, a paint scheme fashioned after the Shanghai Dragons, who we're all joking about every time I do this show because they're terrible, but they've just won the league. So I'm like, oh, they're good now. But I'm also going to paint it in a Borderlands paint scheme. Now, I know it doesn't really come out on camera here at all. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit for you. But it doesn't really work on camera. Because you have to remember, this is a webcam. And webcams are ass. Right, can you see that too close? So it doesn't really come out on the telly screen here, I don't think. But it now has, it's been fully outlined. And I've even done some outlining on the figures. I wasn't going to because I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I have now done outlining on the figures. So that is fully painted up and fully outlined. Lots of outlines everywhere, lots of cross-hatching for shading. It's kind of Borderlands style, but it's also a little bit of sort of comic book art styles, like with the tyres where I've got some cross-hatching and black at the bottom. So I've gone a bit further with that. As I say, it does look a bit rubbish on telly right now because the webcam is rubbish resolution. You can't really see all the fine little bits of cross-hatching and highlights that I've got. So episode 2 will be going up hopefully in the next day or two because I've pretty much finished it now. So do keep an eye out for that. Episode 1 shows you how I got up to the base colour parts. Episode 2 will be everything else and finishing off. Now what I'm not going to show in episode 2 is doing the base because we're going to do that now. So I'm going to zoom out for you. So yeah, so I'm doing this as Arby for George because it's going to have a Borderlands paint job. This is a test pig to see if I could do a Borderlands paint job. Not only doing the outlining, but also doing a kind of bleached chipping effect. If you go and watch episode 1 after this, if you're not sure what I mean, I did paint chips, but I also did a bleached chipping effect where you paint on a paint chip and then you smush it with water to kind of fade it out. So yeah, it kind of really works, and it works in yellow, and I'm really pleased with it. The outlining was actually not as hard as I thought. I got myself some India ink. It's Dr. Martens Black Star waterproof India ink. Any India ink will do. The reason I used India ink is it's very dense and very opaque. You can't really use black paint because black paint, you need it to be very thin and flowy. And if it's very thin and flowy black paint, you've got transparent black paint. So get yourself some India ink. And I just used my Winsor & Newton Series 7 Triple Ort brush. And it's actually, where there's nice raised edges, it's quite easy to do. It's not that hard. The cross-hatching was tricky. There's some very, I mean, you won't really see it here, but again, I'll take some photographs when it's done and it's in the video, but there's some very fine cross-hatchy lines. I also did, on some of the chips, I did some very fine outlining as well. Just very, very subtle. The only thing I haven't done, which I will do on the Sazabi, is if you look at Borderlands vehicles, they have like almost like sticking plasters. They're like little shivs of metal where you get like a crack and they put a piece of metal across it like that. Like little sort of light coloured shivs with a crack in them. Things and little bits of stuff stuck on. I'm going to do those as well. Now, I'm really looking forward to doing this on the Cesabe, because on the Cesabe it's bigger. This is quite small, and it was quite challenging, but it was a good test pig. So this is purely a good test pig. So, what we're going to do today is do the base. Now, let's have a quick look at chat before we crack on. I'm thinking a Team Inept Mankini group photo, says Chris at Gross Models. No. Possibly a calendar, 1836, I think. Kevin Reynolds AKA says, looks really fucking good. Much better than those Tau I find on Instagram. Thank you. Those Tau did look good, but the outlines were a bit too thick and heavy. I think the person that did those Tau maybe used paint. I don't know. I found that using ink, I can get very, very fine outlines. Very, very... That's the trick to get the Borderlands look you don't want. If you use paint, you don't need big, thick lines, and it can look a bit blobby. Oddly, doing the figures, once you get the hang of it, if you're going to try this for yourself, use an ink, use a super fine brush, and start off, for example, with the vehicle and figure. Start off on the vehicle where you've got nice crisp edges, and you can get used to. It's just like edge highlighting, using the edge of the brush. You can get used to how to do it. You have to have the right. If you have too much ink, it'll blob because it's very, very fluidy. If you don't have enough, it will be all fluffy and horrible. You have to get used to having the right amount of ink on the brush. I kind of got used to dipping it in and getting a lot off on the tissue and then working it along. But do the vehicles first, because once you get comfortable with that, going on to the figures, I didn't think I'd do the figures, but doing the figures actually wasn't too bad. It kind of it went where I wanted it to go. So, yes, if you're looking for fine lines. But I'm really pleased with it. You'll get a proper look at it when the video goes up and when I take some good photographs. It needs still a bit shiny at the minute. It needs a good matte varnish on it, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm getting really warm in here. I may have to open my window. Give me 1 second. This may get noisy and I may knock the camera, but I'll try not to. I'm going to try and open the window. Hang on. This could go wrong. Just move that. Lean over there. And do a bit of that. Oh, and then put that there. Oh, yep. Oh. There we go. Oh, that's better. Whew. It's not warm outside, but this room doesn't half heat up very, 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 very quickly with all the lights on. This is one of the reasons I can't do any work when it's really super hot, is because even if the room is tolerable, as soon as I turn on the computer and the lights and have everything going, yeah. I was even filming on Thursday, I think it was, or Friday. I was filming, and it was tolerable in the room. All the lights on it was tolerable to me, but the phone that I film on, my phone, iPhone 5S, was actually getting so hot because of the warmth that it just kept crashing. I think Fox is trying to describe cell shading. It's not cell shaded. It's similar to cell shading, but it's more like comic book style. Excuse me. It's more like comic book style, because cell shading doesn't have lots and lots of cross-hatching, and cell shading tends to be one or two simple flat colours. It doesn't have, like, if you look at Borderlands style artwork, it's got patchiness and shading and depth and all kinds of weathering on there, as well as the outlines. So just sticking an outline on something doesn't make it cell shaded. If it was cell shaded, it would look like one of the Gumplers where you've got like a white part that's white and grey, or a red part that's dark red and light red. You've maybe got one or two colours because it's painting on the back of an animation cell. This kind of stuff you couldn't do on an animation cell because it's got fading and shading and all kinds of stuff. So it's more like comic book style. But yes, it's outlines, but more like comic book style. Kevin says, I'm very intrigued to see the Cesabe. It's such a rounded mobile suit. It'll mostly be... The advantage of the Cesabe is it's the way I'm making it, it's going to be an 8 foot tall or 9 foot tall mech, not a 20 metre tall mobile suit. So I can have lots of really big chips. So I can do chipping around the edges of armour plates, and also things like the little repair patches and things all over it. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Dad asks the most important question: what's on your bench and what's in your belly? Remember, it's the typical question I always ask on a live stream. What's on your bench? What are you working on right now, if anything? And also, what's in your belly? What have you had for your dinner, or what are you going to have for your dinner later on? Let's have a look. Osric, welcome Osric. Osric 9000. Oh, Patient X as well. Welcome, Patient X. It's a new name in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Osric says, sausage roll and not modelling, playing World of Warships. That was I don't know what that noise was. It was supposed to be never mind. Nim says, bench, nothing at the moment. Going to play Dungeons and Dragons with my new metal dice. Ooh, metal dice. Clunk. Don't drop them. Belly, I'm making pork pot stickers later now, chips or crisps for you UK folks. Wait, you're actually eating not snack foods. You're having real food later on. You've had payday then. If you don't know, Nim's always like, oh, I'm on noodles again, or I'm on ramen again this week. Bless her. Nothing wrong with that though. More Draco09 says, Belly coffee, bench clear. Belly coffee, that's acceptable. Bench, says George, is a plague walker. And Belly is heartburn. Oh dear. Drink lots of milk. I need to clear my throat again, hang on. Ooh, cleary throat. Doodle-doodle-doo-doodle-doo. Alex says, we all love to do some heavy chipping and weathering, and Warhammer allows that. Oh yeah, you gotta. I don't do clean models. Just Django says, Belly lasagna. Oh, bench nothing. Yes. Candy Grab from Mongo says, I have my R2-D2 replica at an event, and David Eddings, the voice of Claptrap, Minion, asked for a photo and tweeted it out. My brush with greatness. Wow. Yes. The new guy they've got doing the voice for Claptrap in Borderlands 3 is close. He's not quite there, but he's close. But yeah, I love. A lot of people hate Claptrap. I think Claptrap's the best character in the whole game. Listen to the soothing sound of my voice. Bench what bench, says Lynn. Belly water and Julio's or Julio's chips. I'm going to guess it's Julio's chips. And Serrano salsa. Yeah, definitely Julio's chips then. And possible cherry Dr. Pepper. Oh, Dr. Pepper. Yes, Lynn, I guess, Lynn, you've not sorted out your work area yet because you're still getting settled in. Walter Wilmoth is weathering his rust and stomach is eating my backbone. Yeah, I guess that means you're hungry. Bench is the weathering for the outside part of the 1144th Falcon, says Quano Man. Cockpit, and Belly's getting some lasagnas. Yes. I need to clear my throat again. Oh, don't know what it is with put the camera on. It used to be I got a runny nose. I just get a coffee throat. Right, so let's get this done. What we're going to do for this is going to be dead simple base. I like to keep my base really, really simple on my bases because the focus for me is on the model, not the base it's on. So I don't go for anything too complicated. Also, this is a test pig. It's not meant to be the best model ever made. It's not meant to be a work of art. So I'm just going to keep it simple. So for this, I'm going to use some Agrellan Earth, which is one of my favourites. Now, this is one of the pots of Agrellan Earth that I got from Goblin Games. You remember I went there to sort myself out with those guys, and they had all these like mislabeled stuff, the stuff that had no labels that they can't sell, so they gave me some freebies. And one of them is, allegedly, Agrellan Earth. I've got no idea. It's just a jar of brown. So this may not be Agrellan Earth. We shall find out when we apply it. And to apply it, I've got the spatula and the brush. Now, if you've never used any of these special technical things, these are the crackle paints, basically. These are, you put them on thickly and it comes out with this crackle pattern. I love using these just because it makes a more interesting base than just texture, like soil textures and stuff. So, yes. Candygram says, it was really cool. Talking about David, he said, David Eddings was just in the crowd, introduced himself and gave me codes for Borderlands 2. Very nice fellow. Awesome. Yeah, he don't work there anymore, though. Yes, he had a lot of bad things to say about Randy Pitchford. Who, by all accounts, is... Well, I'm not going to get involved in that one. Right, so the trick with Agrellan Earth and these cracker ones is to basically... What do they do, Ted? Oh, I can't do that, can I? I can't get Ted popping in. What do they do, Ted? Slap it on! Yes, that's right, Ted. You slap it on. Now, they would have you use the little spudgy tool, but I'm just going to crack it on with a brush, to be honest. Base coat that base a deeper brown, Fox. It'll give a much cooler finish. Don't worry. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess a good point. I haven't base coated, have I? I forgot to do that. Tell you what then. Give me a minute to get some paint. Oh, have I got a deeper brown? Yes. Give me a second. Whoa. Yeah, let me find one. Hang on. I always forget to do that. Because I will be giving it a wash later on. Let me find a deeper, darker brown. Deeper, darker brown. We want a dark brown, and the dark brown we want is Rhinox hide. That'll do. That's the one I've got in my hand. Twill suffice. Plus, it's the only deep dark brown I've got. So there you go. Right. So get some Rhinox hide on there first. Rhinox hide. We've got the wet palette out. I wasn't planning on that. Ooh. Right, so wet palette of happiness. So you're getting some painting now. You weren't going to get any painting today. Now you get painting and everything. I need a brush of painting we shall use. The brush we shall use is... Don't need this to be neat and tidy, so I'm just going to use an old base brush. Let's get this on the wet paletings. Unless it's all gone dry. Wet paletings. I think it's raining outside. I can hear it again. Wait, it's British summertime. Of course it's raining, you idiot. I think it's raining. Of course it's raining. Here's some tissue. Tissue. I'll have to get the hairdryer out to get this dry in time. Not really hungry in this heat, says Stefan Last. Welcome, Stefan. But Belly now has some sandwiches with that chicken leftover bits on them on the bench. A mess, looking at the stash to see if a new one might bring my mojo back. You should always buy a new model anyway, even whether your mojo's left you or not. But yes, buying a new model is always the best idea. There's a simple flowchart. I've got it somewhere on my computer. It's like, simple flowchart. Do you need a new model? Yes, then buy a new model. No, then buy a new model. Yeah, that's it. So I'm not going to be too delicate with this. I'm just going to quite simply slap it all over the base and get it on there. Doesn't need to be brilliant cover, because this is only going to be what you see between the cracks, basically. So I'm not going to be too worried if it's not massively opaque or anything like that. Could be with a bigger brush, really. It's not the best brush in the world, that. Well, actually, it'll do for getting underneath. Let me just get underneath first of all. One sec. I keep putting the tissue over there on the left when I need it on the right hand side. I'm an idiot. Right, you go there. You go there. I shall get underneath like this, you see. I don't need to worry too much about underneath because you're hardly going to see that. It's going to be hard enough getting the grill and earth in there, but... So I use this brush just to get under there for the moment. I've got Danny Boy in my head now, and I can't even stand that. I don't even know why it's in my head. I hate that tune. Right, it's going to be tricky getting brushes in here for a grill on earth, but... More paint on the wet palette. More paint. More paint. Yes, I always forget to do a base colour under the grill on earth. I don't know why I always forget. I always do. Because I end up doing like shades and stuff anyway, so... I always forget. Well, that's most of underneath. Let me just... Before we switch to a bigger brush. How is everyone anyway? Hope you're all having a jolly good weekend. Jolly good weekend by all. For all. Of all. Trying to figure out where I can hold this now. There's not got moistness. Actually, you know what this brush will just do? I can just about get it underneath there. Again, I'm not too fussed about being underneath because you're hardly going to see under there anyway. So that's everything under... Nope, not quite. I did decide when I was painting this, I did decide to go for the checker patterns on the missile launcher because missile launcher is Torg and Torg always has a checker pattern on it. It's the law. Right, I need a bigger brush for the... And then I was trying to debate what to do with the top of the cockpit area here. On the proper paint job for the model, it's like a bronzy colour. But that doesn't really work when Borderlands things don't have metallic shades. They don't have metallics, so it's all shades of greys and stuff. So what I decided in the end was just to extend the checker pattern. Now, if you haven't seen... I'm trying to think now if I actually filmed painting the checker pattern. I think I did. I hope I did. If you're thinking it looks like a really nice, neat checker pattern, like proper, nicely laid out, everything's equal, it's all lies. I can't remember if I said this last time, but the secret is the real true secret with checker patterns is whether your model. Make sure you're not doing a nice, clean, tidy model. Because if you do a nice, clean, tidy model, you have to make sure your checker pattern is nice and neat, that all the squares are the same size. I'm doing this really haphazardly by everybody. All the pro painters out there are now wincing because I'm just dribbling this on like a butter on a slab of toast. But I don't care. It's only for underneath the crackle pattern. Yeah, if you're doing a nice clean model, then you need to make sure that all your checkers are the right size. It's all parallel and everything looks nice and neat. If you're doing a weather model, you don't have to worry about that. And I'll tell you why. Because I did the checker pattern. It was all hand painted and brush painted. Did the checker pattern. And it was the usual case of back and forth all the time that you never see on people doing videos, where you paint a black bit, then you have to go back and touch up the white bit, and then you get the white on the black, so you have to go back and touch up the black, and you go backwards and forwards like that. Drives you nuts. So I did all that, and it came out nice and solid. But it, for whatever reason, because I was tired and it was late and it was hot, some of the lines weren't all parallel. So like there'd be a column that started off so thick and then was thinner at the bottom or thinner at the top or whatever. And it was like, so I did a bit more back and forth and tidied up. But at the end of it, I was like, you know what? I'm bored of this now. Because you get a column where the top's too thick, so you make it thinner, and then now it's thinner than the bottom, and you're like, oh, for crying out loud. So I just gave up and just got it looking all right, because it's only a test pig. Got it looking okay. And I was like, right, I'll come back to it the next day. Came back to it the next day and it still looked a bit shonky, but I'm like, screw it, I've just got to weather it now anyway. So all I did was painted on there, black and white checks. They weren't all nice and parallel, and nice. Some of the edges were a bit ropey and things like that. All I did was I painted on some paint chips with Skaven Blight Dinge just around the edge. Same as normal paint chips. Painted on some paint chips. The Skaven Blight Dinge was obviously visible on the white and the black patches, so that worked nicely. Skaven Blight Dinge, and then a shade, a Vagrax Earth shade, to make the whites look less clean and to blend the blacks in a little bit. And then I went over it with a very delicate, very careful coat of the contrast Space Wolves Grey. And what that did, miraculously, without me planning it, was it hid all my sins. It took all the rough edges and it made them suddenly, the chipping hid a lot of the ropey little edges. I'll zoom in a little bit for you so you can see it properly. Hang on. Again, it's through the webcam, so it'll look really crappy. The chipping hid a few of the little rough edges down this end, because when it went round the edge it wasn't quite neat. And the shades just kind of blended the blacks into the whites a bit. They toned down the whites and they softened the blacks, and it all kind of blended together. And suddenly, with the mixture of the shades and the chipping, if you look carefully, you can see that some of the lines are not quite, straight parallel. But for the quick glance, you don't realise it hides it. It suddenly blends everything together, and it's like, I did it, and I was like, whoa, okay, that was a hell of a cop out. Yeah, so I don't know how I did that, but there you go. Right, so what we're going to do is I am going to have a swig of tea. Have a swig of tea, dear boy. Have a quick look at chat, and then we'll give that a minute to dry. I may wave a hairdryer at it. So have a quick look at chat though. Simon Reynolds says belly is soon to be beef short ribs and bench is the Sazabi as per usual. Oh, beef short ribs. I don't know what they are, but I need them. What about beef not short ribs, like beef full size, full length ribs? Snowman says bench practicing fading belly, nothing yet. More Draka says I've got to find where I put that dark chocolate fudge for the munchies. Patient X says belly, licorice, all sorts, bench, RE100 Barbados or Barbados or Barbitos or Barbados. Licorice, all sorts are fantastic, but if you eat too if you eat too many, you get hosepipe butt. Go steady. Stefan Lass, welcome Stefan, says not really hungry in this heat, but belly is now. I've done that one. Spinny Curate says broadsword calling Danny boy. Broadsword. Look at the muscularity. Yeah, it's an ongoing joke. Go and subscribe to Bardic Broadcasts. Oh no, Mormons! Just Django forgot to mention, also had a can of strawberry flavour apple cider along with the lasagna. Ooh. Buying a new kit, you say, Stefan. There's an idea. Love that old weathered yellow. Yeah, says Alex, and that chest pattern is oh so cherry top of the cake. The reason I painted this yellow as a test pig, the Cesabe isn't going to be yellow, but the reason I painted this yellow was it's a kind of Borderlands idea as well, but yellow is one of the best colours for showing chipping and weathering. I don't know why, it's just chipping and weathering always looks fantastic on yellow. Yellow is a really friendly, and greens, some greens as well work really well. Yellow works great with grey, dark grey chipping, and greens can look great with rust coloured chipping. Reds, it's more tricky to get them to look good, and blues, yeah, again, it's tricky to get blues looking weathered, but yellows, fantastic. You've got a lot more variation, and plus if you're used to seeing yellow things knackered, go and look at any building site where they've got some JCBs and diggers. They're always yellow, they're always rusty, they're always knackered. You kind of mentally tuned to see yellow things as knackered and rusty, which is kind of cool. Let's have a look. What colour did you use for the skin tone, says Walter. The skin tone, when it comes to skin, I am completely lazy and I use the Games Workshop standard protocol, which is Bugman's Glow as the base, then a shade of Reikland Flesh Shade, then you go over with Cadian Flesh Tone, leaving all the shade in the recesses. You just kind of thin it down a little bit and work over the areas that you want to be highlighted. So you go over with Cadian Flesh Tone, and then you go over them with the Kislev Flesh, which is another lighter tone that's just on the real highlight areas. And what you do is you're going from darkest colour, the Bugman's Glow, which is a warm brown colour, and you're working your way up to Kislev Flesh, which is the real light highlight colour. I'm not an expert in doing figures, and I was never any good at doing skin tones, and it's a very limited way of doing it, but having taken that idea the way Games Workshop do it, it is actually a really good way to get, at the very least, tabletop standard painted skin tone. So Bugman's Glow, Reikland Flesh Shade, Cadian Flesh Tone, Kislev Flesh. The trick is, with anything, if you paint a base colour and then a shade, what you don't want to do is then cover the whole thing in your next layer colour. So if I did like Bugman's Glow and then did Reikland Flesh Shade and then just painted over it completely in Cadian Flesh Tone, it would just be Cadian Flesh Tone coloured. All that other stuff underneath will be a complete waste of time. The trick is to use your base and your shade layer in the recesses. So you paint everything Bugman's Flesh, you shade everything with the Reikland Flesh Shade, then you paint the highlight areas, so cheeks, forehead, chin, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, anywhere where it's going to be light, you paint that the Cadian Flesh Tone, and you leave the darker colour in the recesses. And if you're supposed to be able to thin it a bit and get this nice slight blend between the two. I've not quite mastered that yet, but it's a really simple way of doing it. It's what it suggests in the colour app as well on your phone, but it's a real simple way of doing flesh tones. It's not a pro way of doing it. Sai in chat, Kev, he probably spends like 3 hours painting a hand and does like 35 different colours in glazes, but for tabletop level, it's fine. It's fine. Eon's car is in. Hello everyone, what did I miss? You missed disgusting things on my bench. Let's just leave it at that. Candygram from Mongo says, Belly, I'm working my way through a kettle of Scottish breakfast tea. Ooh, that's great. I don't know what that is, but it sounds great. The best breakfast tea is Scottish breakfast tea, as a true Scotsman would know. Kind of looks like an old yellow cab in New York City, says Lynn. Yeah, that's kind of what tipped me to do the black and white checkers. Was I wanted to do, because it's, your Borderlands, it's Rocket's a Torg, and Torg has checkers, and I thought, well, it's yellow cab, black and white checkers. Yeah, so that's what I went for. My belly is on my bench, says David Sanderson. I play Borderlands, love the concept, says Alex. Thank you very much. Again, it's just a test pig for my Cesabe, but and the reason I suggested to George that I do a Borderlands colour scheme is 100% because of this model. Because this model came out, I was like, wow, that looks like a Bandit Technical. And then I said, hey, George, why don't I do a Borderlands colour scheme on the Cesabe? Now, George, I don't think George has played Borderlands. And he went, yeah, that sounds brilliant. And it's only yesterday I realised, hang on, George hasn't played Borderlands. How does he know what that looks like? But he's up for it, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. There's 3 skin shades in the new contrast line, says Richard Gibbs. Yes, I haven't tried. I haven't tried doing skin shades with the. Well, I did a bit. I did that. Well, no, I didn't actually. I was going to grab my Poxwalker, but he's not there. You can use those in the contrast to get an alternative way and do skin shades, but I haven't tried those yet. But I kind of prefer, for skin at least, until I've tried the contrast line, I kind of prefer the solidity of the skin tones here. Of course, I only know how to paint basically white flesh, white Caucasian skin flesh. I've never tried anything darker than that, so I do need to experiment a bit. George says, I've played Borderlands. Okay. Oh, I haven't played it. Oh, I do apologise. I thought you hadn't played it, George. I do apologise. In that case, kick ass. That explains why you were so quick to say, yeah, do that. Awesome. I thought you hadn't played it. I don't know why I thought that. I'll just shut up now anyway. Right, so that's probably dry. I'm going to give it a blast with the hairdryer. So I'm going to turn off the microphone for a second. One moment. See what I'll do. I'm only going to be like 20 seconds, but I'll give you the back in a moment music just so you're not listening to silence. Give me one moment. Hang on. There we go, that's nice and dry. Shut up, music. That's nice and dry. So next we need to go in with the Grillen Earth. Blow drying and then runs for a wee, says Lynn. No, I didn't. Eon's Car says, I've played the first Borderlands and did not complete my Xbox 360. Gives me the black screen. That's possibly then a problem with your Xbox 360 being 150 years old. Yeah, if you've never played Borderlands, if you have a console, or even if you have an PC and you've never played Borderlands, but you're not averse to playing a bit of a first-person shooter, play Borderlands. It's brilliant. Oh, Borderlands 1 is great. Borderlands 2 is, well, almost as great, but the DLC makes up for it. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is the third game. It's not the third. It's the third game in the third game released. Don't bother with that. It's not that good. It's not like pre-sequel. It's not great. Tales from the Borderlands is a Telltale game, and I haven't played that. That's the old point-and-click style game. Patient X says, I want this music to be played at my funeral. Cool, that's a good idea. Right, next up we have to get the gloopy 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 Grillen Earth all over this base. Thank you, Simon, for reminding me to the base colour. Grillen Earth is a crackle paint. So it's going to go on, it's going to dry out. The idea is that the crust at the top dries faster than the paint underneath. And because of that, you get this variation in the surface tension and it cracks. In the same way you get like a dry lake bed cracks because it's moist underneath and the surface is parched by the sun. That's how crackle paints work. Although it's probably more chemical based for these. So the trick is, if you want nice big cracks, slap the paint on thickly. If you do a very thin layer of paint, you might get very small cracks or very little because there's not a big difference between the paint underneath and the surface. You need a crusty surface with paint underneath. Dad says device. Yes, Dad does remind me. Dad says device. I need my Dad's device. Which is the best thing in the world. It really is the best thing in the world, this thing. My little paint hangman. There you go. And all you're going to do with this is quite simply slap it on, as Ted would say. Now this brush is going to take forever, so I'm actually going to... This is specifically my Grell and Earth brush. But what I'm going to do is sacrifice a base brush, because that is too small. I'm going to sacrifice this old base brush because it's bigger. So, oh no, Chris, sorry. So Chris says device. I misread that. I thought when I saw device, I thought it was Dad that said device. I do apologise, Chris. It was because we all shout at Chris when he does his videos and he doesn't use his Dad device, because he has got one and he doesn't use it. So this is going to take forever. Oh, hang on. Let me try the big spatula. Right. I've never tried this spatula before. This is the texture tool from Citadel. That's a bit faster, isn't it? I'm just really spooning it on. Spoon it on! Now, I'm not too fussed if I get any on the tyres, because it will just come out like earth. I'm going to try and spoon some underneath the vehicle first. Might take a while. Now, of course, you could say, well, why didn't I do this on the base first? I didn't paint the vehicle on the base. I made sure the vehicle was fully painted first, and then I glued it to the base. Of course, when I glued it to the base, I had to scrape paint away from both the base and the wheels to make sure that there was plastic contact in plastic for the glue to work. Now, as I say, you might say, why didn't I do all this before I did the base? I didn't know exactly where the vehicle was going to glue to the base, and I needed bare plastic, and I didn't want to leave spaces with the Grell and Earth for the vehicle. I'm going to glue it and then suddenly find maybe they're not in the right place and I've got these gaps. So it's easier just to get the vehicle fully painted up, then work out where you want the wheels to go, scrape some paint off the wheels and the base, and then go ahead and glue it on, and then do the base afterwards. For most models, you can actually get underneath, no problems. Always test first though, because the last thing you want to do is glue your model to the base and then find you can't access the base underneath the model to get the texture. That would suck. So the trick here really is to just get it on as thick as you possibly can. Don't be shy with it. What you'll see, if I do it right, it should be thick in the centre, and I'll probably end up doing it thin around the edge just because that seems to be the way it goes when I do these things. So this tool is actually pretty good. I've done this with brushes before now, and this tool is actually surprisingly good. Yeah, I tend to, for some reason, end up with it thin around the edges, so my little crackles get big in the middle and small on the outsides. So I'll try and work away from that this time and not do that. Of course, this is all assuming that this is a Grell and Earth. Like I said, it's from my good friends Goblin Games, gave it to me as a freebie because it didn't have a label on, and therefore they can't sell it. And it would only either only go in the bin, so, or they'd use it for their own purposes. So I'm like, yeah, I'll have that. So spread it like peanut butter. Says Skullfish. It's like really light coloured Nutella, and bizarrely, it has a kind of earthy smell. I've gone far too deep, and I've got paint all the way up my spatula. So spatula slape is quite good for getting it under the wheels. Now again, I'm not too fussed if I get a little bit on the wheels, because I can go and tweak that later on. If I just want to hold it, I can go and tweak that later on, and I can add a bit more dry brushing to the wheels if I need to blend them in. And the other reason I like to use a Grell and Earth is it's kind of the dirt and dust texture I did on the vehicle. Usually what I'll do is I'll use pigments and powders like Ammo Mig, dark earth and things like that. But on this one, because I was doing the outlining and I had to do the weathering first, I can't use pigments and powders and then try to paint an outline over the surface, because the powder would make the surface lumpy and rough, and that would be impossible to try and paint an outline over. So what I did was I did all the dirt and dust was just dry brushed. And then the outlines were done. But the beauty is that the paints I used were Steel Legion and Steel Legion and Carrackstone, and they do give a colour that when it dries, well, that's similar to this stuff when it dries. Move that away a bit. It's not a dissimilar colour, but this is also a similar colour to if you use like pigments and powders, earthy tones on there. Now what I did as well, when you watch the video for this build, you'll see that I weathered the underside with the dirt and dust as well. However, later on what I did was, it wasn't looking contrasty enough between the underside of the vehicle and the rest of it. So what I did was I went back in with the ink and I just painted a lot of the undercarriage and the area under the top of the vehicle just black with the ink. And it just gives this nice contrast then between above and below, sort of ground level, what's under the vehicle and what's above, sort of the waterline, if you know what I mean. Because I was kind of doing it was going to be just purely a Borderlands colour scheme, sort of style, but it did kind of end up being a little bit comic book style, comic art style, because I used to draw comics and stuff, so I used to do pen and ink and watercolours. So it did kind of go that way a bit, and I embraced that and then put some shading on the wheels and things like that. So there we go. So that's actually quite a handy little tool, this. If you've never picked one up, it's the texture tools, plastic and flexible. Oh, Alex Modelling, $2. Thank you very much. Great stuff. So thank you very much, Alex. That's very, very kind of you again. You're a gentleman, sir, or a lady, depending. I don't know. Alex is a unisex name. Oops. See if I can get onto that. What was I talking about? I've forgotten now. I don't know. What was I in the middle of talking about? I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's a great little tool. I mean, I say until now I've done this with a brush, but I got one of these the other day when I was in the store, and I was like, I'll get one of the texture tools, because I knew I was going to have to do this and get underneath the car. And it's actually quite handy. It's just a little. I mean, you could just get any old flat plastic spatula, of course you could. But I quite like this. It's quite handy. Now there will be a couple of little bits where I've gone up onto the tyre with the texture. That's fine, because if I can find somewhere to hold it, I'm going to do some tufts on this anyway, some grass tufts. So if the worst comes to the worst, and I do get too much earth on one of the tyres, and I can't hide it any other way, I can just put a grass tuft over that tyre, can't I? As if it's about to drive over it. You can hide a lot of sins. So we'll get that on there. I've got a bit of the texture paint on the vehicle there, so what I will do is I'll get this base brush and I will carefully, it's just a normal paint, so you can't thin it with water. You wouldn't thin it with water normally because you need to apply it as it is, but if I'm trying to cover up and hide a bit of a splodge where I've gone a bit awry with the paint, not hard, I can just get some water on a brush and just blend it away. What it will do is it will thin down and it will dry just earth coloured, so it'll just look like dust on the wheel, on the tyre basically. So rather than looking like a splodge of a Grelin earth, which is technically what it is, it will more rather, like on this tyre here, got some splodges there, it'll just wash it away a little bit and it'll just blend it and look more like a patch of dust and earth, which won't match the dry brushing on the tyre 100%, but if you do this, it'll just blend it in. It changes colour as it dries, like all paints. So that should be there. We'll just give that a rinse. Thank you again for that, Alex. That's very kind of you. Really? Unisex? Yeah, Alex. I've had a few friends of mine, and they've had kids. I know. I mean, I don't recommend having kids, but they've had kids. I don't know why. And they've been trying to think of names, and I kind of had an ongoing joke, but it's true. If you can't decide on a name, you can have a kid, you know if it's a boy or a girl, and you really can't figure out a name. I always said to them, like, you've got two choices. There's two cool names you can go for that don't matter. You can call your kid Max, or you can call your kid Alex. Because Max is a great name for a boy, and it's an awesome name for a girl. Not short for anything, not like Maxine, just Max. Because as a boy's name, Max is brilliant, but as a girl's name, it's even better. It's like the ultimate tomboy girl name. Yeah, it's like spy type adventure in. Yeah, it's just great. So I said, I always use jokes there, right? Call your kid. If you can't decide on a name, you don't know if it's a boy or a girl, call it Max or Alex. There you go. You've decided a name. There you've got 2 choices. Good to go. And it always made him laugh. But then, bless him, my friend, my very good friend Martin, my lifelong, very dear friend Martin. He doesn't watch this show, so. But he's got a girl and he's got a boy. Because I said to my brother when he was having his 3 sons, and he said, my 3 nephews, I'd call him Max, and they never did. And then my friend Martin, he's having his second kid, and it was a boy, and I said, yeah, call him Max, and they did. It was like brilliant. Yay. There we go. So that is the Agrellan Earth on there. Now what I'm going to do very quickly is just run my thumb around, or what I can do. I've got one of these little, this is the seam line removal tool that you get in Warhammer Conquest. To run that around there, just to get rid of any blobs. If you're wondering how you get nice smooth edges. The good thing with that texture tool I've just learned by doing it, when you brush on a texture paint like this, you can end up splobbing it around the edges, and this is what you need to do. Just get something straight and rigid, just to get rid of it. If you forget, not a problem. Once everything's dried, you can just sand the edge away. I will paint the edge. You can sand it. Or, as I've just learned, the texture tool is a great way to spoon this onto your base, but also keep it, sort of, because almost nothing came off there. It just takes it to the edge and it doesn't splob down the side. So brilliant. So hopefully, the bit, oh, there's a bit yet. The texture paint there that I've thinned away and washed away. Hopefully that will blend in and look like dust. If not, like I say, I can always go over with the dry brush. The paints I used for the dry brushing on the wheels, on the tyres, was Steel Legion Drab as a base coat dry brush, and then Carrick Stone on top. So we shall leave this now. That will take about, it's typically about 45 minutes to an hour to do its business. To do its do. It looks terrible right now, but once it dries, you'll see amazing transformations. So, put that brush there. Which brushes? I've used that brush. Use that brush. Have I used that brush? I don't know. I'm gonna have to. I can never remember which brushes I use, and then I end up having to wash all my brushes. I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to use my old school brush cleaning technique, which is Tamiya X28 thinner plus a load of other airbrush thinners. I wouldn't put the. I used to use this to clean my brushes. I wouldn't do that anymore because I've learned how to clean brushes properly now. But if you ever get something like this where it's not a brush, yeah. Chris at Gross Model says, do we get to watch it dry now? You can do if you want, but it's going to be very interesting. You won't. I did do a time-lapse once. I filmed a time-lapse of it, and it was fascinating. You watch it back, and it's like, you see all the little crackles go. It's great. Unfortunately, when I filmed it, I did a very thin coat, so it didn't come out particularly crackly. So I'm going to put that to one side, over there. You can hairdryer dry it, but I found that does tend to change the way it does the crackle. And if you hairdryer dry it, it may end up with smaller crackles. So I don't recommend it. Just let it do its thing. Let it go off and do its thing. So have a quick look at chat. Nice R2 pick Candygram. Yes, that is Armageddon dust, not a crackle paint. It's Armageddon, Agrellan Earth. It should be, apparently. I mean, it may well be Armageddon, because did he give me another bottle? They gave me 2. They gave me this, and they gave me a bottle of Armageddon Earth, Armageddon Dust. So we'll find out what this looks like. It's either going to come out like crackle paint, which is fine, because it's Agrellan Earth, or it'll just come out like dusty dirt, which is fine. Doesn't really matter. It's the colour that's more important. We shall see what that does. We shall see what that does. I say, I do have Agrellan Earth. I've got loads of pots of it, because I love it. What about tyre marks, says Gross Models? Shut up. It's going to be dry, if it is, assuming it is Agrellan Earth, it's going to be dry lake bed, kind of crackled dirt and dust, so it won't really have tyre marks. They'll be, shut up. Skullfish says, when Eric eats a banana, I've got the Banana Man theme in my head now. God damn it. I don't even know how I've got the Banana Man theme in my head. Oh, it's because I watched something and it mentioned banana. Oh, man. When Eric eats a banana, he becomes Banana Man. God bless you, Graham Garden. Just use a tissue to clean down the tool. Is that all you need? Says Mordracker. Yeah, I just like to. Actually, I want to give it another squidge in there. I'm quite picky about cleaning my tools. I'll give it another whiz. I don't actually need to. You don't need to worry too much. It's just a plastic tool. It doesn't actually matter. But I'm going to give it a good squidge. The dust is a lot thicker. That's the earth for sure, says Dad. Well, as I say, they gave me one of each. The other one that labelled Armageddon Dust, I think, was either a little bit lighter or darker. I forget now. But it doesn't really matter. I'm not really fussed. It'll be one or the other. But they got them, obviously, in stock with no labels on, so they can't sell them. So, we shall find this all fun. We'll find out. It's like science. It's like doing an experiment. Yeah. But yeah, I love this because it's like no effort at all. And I hopefully get a nice crackly lake bed. I have got as well some Midland Tufts, which I'll put on later on. If it dries in time, it might still be going by the time we finish. Let's have a look. Right, so that's what we're up to with chat. What time are we on? We're on 4:15. Now, while that's drying, do you want me to show you what's in the Baneblade and Disintegrator sprues, or do you want me just to crack on with the next? I was going to go back and carry on with those Space Marines. Either is good, but if you want me to, I can show you what's in the Baneblade box and stuff. Let me know. Gross Model says Mankini. No, not Mankini. Not Mankini. It's not happening. Baneblade says just Django. Tank says Mordracker. It's just a load of sprues. It's not that impressive, but it's just something to pass the time. If you want. So I was going to just crack on with my Space Marines. I'm trying to think what other news I can tell you about before we do anything. What else has been going on? Baneblade says Osric. Let's have a think. What else has been going on? Not a lot, because I've not been able to do a lot of work. Dumplings says Nims. Oh, I really fancied some Chinese dumplings right now. Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. Oh, some shumai. Baneblade. Pizza says Gross Models. Oh dear. Tell you what, then I'll go and get me Baneblade and me thingamajig. I'll bring them out. I'll just move this pot of water out of the way. I'll take that with me and clean that out. I will need to move this, so give me a second. That will go over there like that. Right, give me 2 moments. I will go and get the relevant things. I won't put the music on again. I'll just give me 2 moments. I'm just going over here. Right, I have to move the camera a bit. I can't remember if I actually showed you the inside the Baneblade box before, which is why I was asking. So, right, so let's see what we've got. Let's see what the good doctor has in his magic bag. Let's change the focus because we'll be well out. Hang on. Change my glasses. Changing focus is a right pain sometimes. Where is the focus? It's about right. There we go. Okay, let's have a look and see. What's chat saying? Pizza reflections. Everything was silent. We should all go. Damn it, says Chris. Too late. I got back. Here's a Baneblade. It is a big ass box. Yes, it is a huge box. And I have had a few people who, a few of my friends who've got no interest in Warhammer whatsoever, but they build armour. For some of you out there who've asked about this, they have no interest in Warhammer, but they build armour. And things like this have been like their little gateway drug, because they've gone in and they've built this because they like you know, armour and AF and tanks and stuff. And building the Baneblade was their gateway drug, and suddenly they're building Warhammer, and they're like, oh no! So not only do we get this massive, look at the size of this manual. Many decals. Many decals, Mahoney. But you do get, the reason the box is so big is you do get 8 variants of this kit. 8 different versions you can build. Let me know if I'm in focus, by the way. Paul Di Tommaso is in. He says, hey everybody. Hey Paul. And basically, you can build, normally what people do is they get this and they build one of the 8 versions. But if with some finagling, you can magnetize it in such a way that you can have all 8 versions, so you can buy one kit but have 8 different versions of it that you can play on the tabletop. Only one at a time, obviously. But basically you can build the Baneblade, the Hellhammer, the Storm Sword, the Shadow Sword, the Bane Sword, the Doom Hammer, the Bane Hammer, or the Storm Lord. You can build all of those. I don't know which is. I think the Bane Blade is the most powerful, because all the weapons have different powers and things. But basically, the Baneblade and the Hellhammer use the same upper hull, and then the Storm Sword, Shadow Sword, Bane Sword, Doom Hammer, Bane Hammer, and Storm Lord all use the same upper hull. I think. No, sorry. These 3 all use the same configuration, and these 3. But with some finagling and magneting, you can make them all interchangeable. And that's what I hopefully plan on doing. I've got the gist of most of it, how you do it. There are some bits of information I'm missing. A lot of people, like you put some plastic strips inside to help support the base. It's like loads of videos say, here's what you do. You put these plastic strips in, but not one of them tells you the distance, the height. Apart from Spiky Bits, who says, this is the... And then he measures it in inches. And it's like, because it's American, and it's like, oh, we don't do inches. It's 7/16 and it's 3 7/16. I'm like, well, that's not. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what 3/16 of an inch. Nonsense. So I'll figure it out. So yes, you can see there's tons and tons of sprue action going on here. You get loads of figures as well. All different commissars and pointy officers and things. I don't really know how much I can show you on this without it being a bit rubbish, but see if I can have a look at the sprue properly. Where are you now? Where are you? Why has that gone weird? Went a bit weird and sideways then, that's strange. Okay, are you actually in focus? Let me zoom in a bit. Zooming focus. There we go. Oh, there we go. It is a bit rubbish doing what's in the box. Pull out to tape measure Fox and check it, says Paul. No, it's basically to... When you build the lower hull, you make a box, and the upper hull sits on top. And what you can do is you can put some sprue along the inside so it just sits on top and rests. But you need to know, you need to get it the exact right height because it needs to line up with the other bits of hull. And the only thing that tells you what height to do that is Spiky Bits video, and he does it in weird inches, so I don't understand. Yes, so a sprue. I don't know why I'm doing this really because you can't really see much, but you get an idea for the size of it. That piece there is one of the upper hull bits, and if you look at the actual model, that corresponds with this bit here. Just this piece with the turret on top and that bit, which is basically, has it got a side view anywhere? It's kind of that bit in blue there. So the whole thing is going to be about, what, that long? About a foot and a bit. Dad, if Dad's made one, if you can measure it and tell me, I'm going to guess it's be about that long. Something like that. So it's not a small model at all. It's huge. I'm really looking forward to doing it. When I will, I don't know. Beyond hopes. Afternoon, folks. I'm just lurking today as I'm ill. Migraine, so no 3D printing chat. You'll be pleased to hear. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Hopefully it passes soon for you. Nothing worse than a migraine. More officers. And you can tell they're officers again because they've got pointy swords and pointy fingers. It's like Tamiya. Whenever Tamiya make model kits of British soldiers, you always know the officers because they're pointing. Big, massive gun on the front. 24 centimetres long, says Dad. Which is... 324. Okay, that's not as big as I thought it was then. It's that big. Which is... yeah, it's about that. It's that long, so... okay, I thought it was bigger than that. Still big, don't get me wrong. I'm still impressed. So there we go. There's tons and tons of detail. Loads and loads of sort of panel details and riveting. Of course, being Warhammer, it's all heavily riveted and lots of sort of checker plate stuff and pipes and tubes. 7mm from top of sprue to top edge, says Dad. Aha! Awesome. You'd have to remind me of that, Dad. More detail there. Lovely. Absolutely. I can't wait to get on. This is going to be later in the year when I do this, but there's so much going on. But then you have the tracks. Look at the size of them tracks. They're huge. Huge and thick. And they have aquillas all over them as well, which is kind of amusing. But they're massive, massive tracks. Absolutely huge and enormous. And then, of course, we have the ubiquitous fuel barrels on the back. The Promethean barrels on the back. Always put explosive fuel barrels on the back of your tank. It's always a good idea. And a couple more. All very much the same. Bits and bobs. All these are falling off the table now. I've got to run out of space. And then one last one. You get a sense of how wide this is, because that's the floor plate. One of the floor plates there. So you get that kind of sense of how wide it is. So yeah, if you've been thinking about it, if you're not a Warhammer builder, and you're just watching the stream for I don't know why, but if you're not a Warhammer type builder, and you prefer like your armour and things like that, then it is a nice little gateway kit. Well, I say little. It's not cheap, but it's a nice gateway kit. It's similar to what you already like, if you like your tanks and armour. So there's a Baneblade. That's massive. It barely fits in the box. I've got to try and get it back in the box now. Where's the... I've lost the... there it is. Ooh. 18 centimetres wide, says Dad. I mean, once I start building it and I'm trying to paint it, it'll be huge. But when you just say... when you get the tape out and you realise it's only that... it's like, okay, that doesn't seem that big. Yeah, it's when you build it, that's when it gets... you get the true sense of how big it is. So I'll just put that there. I'll put that on there. So there we go, that is the Baneblade. That'll be later on in the year, and I will be trying to magnetise it and get all what's called the Octoblade, where you build all 8 versions in one. Yes, and I will be doing it, I think I've decided, with my Xeon army, the Principality of Xeon. I'm going to have some Death Corps units, Death Corps Krieg, and I think I might make this a tank for my Death Corps of Krieg dudes. So it's going to have... I'll carefully consider the colour scheme. It may be a classic World War II German European theatre grey, but I don't know yet. So we'll see. We'll see. I shall put that to one side. The other thing I got this week... oh, I did also get as well... sprues for the extra sponsons. You can get extra. You get 2 sponsons with the Baneblade. This is the extra sponsons sprues. 2 sprues, and you can have basically 4 sponsons. So you have even more guns. Even more guns. Because what do you need in a Baneblade? More guns. Well, there goes my mailbag to you, Fox. What do you mean, Lynn? What do you mean? What have I done? Okay, there we have. Now this is what Jerry sent me. Jerry sent me this. He said it would go with my my army, and it is fantastic looking. It's a really new kit. It only came out last year, I think. Standard Mechanicus decals, and you can build either the Scorpius Disintegrator or the Scorpius Dune Rider. Sieg Xeon, says James Purcell. Hey James. And I was looking through the instructions for this. I was going to get you the Baneblade, says Lynn. Oh, thank you very much, Lynn. I didn't know. Well, thank you very much anyway. It would have been super kind. Oh, David Butch, that model's in. Is it safe to come in? Has he got clothes on? Yes. Well, they assume I have. How would they know? They don't know. Look, that arm's bare. That arm's bare. What about the rest of me? You don't know. Yeah, I was looking at this, and in the same way I'm gonna make the Baneblade all 8 versions. I was looking if there's any way to build this so it can swap between the two, so you can do 2 versions. This probably not as easy. The structure of the vehicle, you can either build it with the landing craft with the openy front bit, or you can build the sealed bit here. Now I figured out you can do this. Basically the way it works is this: the sealed vehicle has a top hull, if you'll see here, has a top hull and a front hull here. It will be very easy to get these two together and glue them, but not glue them to the main body, and then you can pop them off again, like I did with the Taurox Prime, where I can pop the top off. I could just, or the Rhino, I could just lift the lid off. That would be fine, and then you could use that, and you could do the same with the Dune Crawler. You could somehow attach the front gate bit here to the ramp to the sides, but not attach the sides to the hull, so you could again pull it in. Now you probably have to glue the door open or closed. It might not be movable, but that'd be fine, and then you could swap in between that version and that version. Wouldn't be a problem. The difficulty comes with the main weapon, because on the Dune Raider you have the little sort of the weapon up here, the twin bolter. On this one you have the big ass what's it called? It's called a thing. It's called a weapon of some sort. You can have either the Ferromite cannon or the Belleros energy cannon. The difficulty is that the dude that's built into that weapon, it's the same dude, and you just stick on different bits to the dude, and you don't have duplicate parts. So they kind of share the same chassis with extra bits stuck on, but they're not all things that might be possible to magnetise. I looked and saw if it was possible to put them together and glue them, but like you did with the hull, glue them on and take them off and swap them out. But there are certain bits, so I don't know if it's possible to build both versions of that. I'll have to have a look when I build it. I'll assume that you can until I get to the point where we build the weapons, and then we'll see what we can do with that guy. But that'd be a shame. It'd be nice if I could build both versions, because you can have the dudes inside, but then if you build the one that's sealed, you still build them anyway. So there we go. So yeah, so that's awesome. I'll have a quick look at the sprues. They are, because it's a new release last year, the sculpting is fantastic. It's beautiful detail. Only 2 sprues, but it's got loads and loads of beautiful detail. I'm getting a nice cool breeze from outside. That's nice. Fantastic sculpting on all the little covers and hatches. If you compare some of the modern vehicles to some of the old stuff, like take the old Rhino kit and compare it to, like, this. The level of detail now is fantastic. There's like little levers and hatches on the things on the hatches. That's absolutely beautiful. And all the Mechanicus dudes. I did enjoy painting my Skitarii. I painted them with a green colour scheme, which I'm not really that keen on anymore, but I've got to stick to it now. So lots and lots of lovely, lovely detail. Skinny Skitarii legs. There we go. Always fun. So yeah, I can't wait to get that painted up. That's going to be an absolute blast. I will experiment and see if I can do get the dual version, so I can swap and change. Because the idea is then you're only playing one on the tabletop, but you can swap and change the weapons if you need to. So there you go. If not, obviously I'll just buy 2. So that is brilliant. So thank you very much to Jerry for that. That is a beautiful gift from Jerry. Lynn, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know you were intending on getting me a Baneblade. That would have been awesome if I'd known. But thank you very much anyway. So that's that. Right, let's have a look at this. See how we're doing with our crackle paint. That might not be crackle paint, shall we? Where's my painty board? Let me get my painty board back. Yeah, so I can't wait to get going on that Baneblade. Oh, that's going to be brilliant. I need to move my camera back now, don't I? Doodle-doo, camera time. Is it in focus? I don't know. Let's find out. Almost. Let's put that there. Are we in focus there for you folks? I think, maybe. I can't tell. I've got the wrong glasses on now. Oh! There we go. It's nearly in focus. There we go. So, no obvious evidence of crackling yet. It may not be. It may not be a Grell on Earth. It may well be a Grell on Badland. Whatever the Armageddon does, we'll find out. We shall find out. So it's going to obviously take a while. Starting to dry around the edges. We should keep our eyes peeled for crackles. I might be seeing little tiny microscopic ones here, but I don't know. We'll reserve judgment. Right, so I'll put that over to one side anyway. Over there, continue to dry. What's chat done? Do. Darn it, Fox, now I have the Smurf theme song in my head. Brilliant. Thankfully, I don't know the Smurf theme. Smurf. I can't even say the Smurf theme song. Smurf theme song. Oh, wow. Try saying Smurf theme song really fast over and over again. It's quite painful. I don't even know that tune, so there you go. Do. Bidoo. Last year that came out with Apocalypse Fox, says Kevin. Did it? You sure? What not the Baneblade, the Scorpius that came out. Was it not earlier this year or late last year? I think it was anything from Apocalypse. I know the reboxed Baneblade came out with Apocalypse, but that's the same Baneblade as before. It's just a new. That's the thing. The new Baneblade that came out with Apocalypse, it's just the old Baneblade with a different box. Dave, he's wearing the mankini Chris gave him, lol, says Lynn. That's what I'm scared of, says Dave. So are we, says Lynn. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm sure I watched that being announced ages ago. Like, ages ago. It says copyright 2018 on it. Like I say, I know the Baneblade it's just a rebox. I'm confused. I don't know. I'm confused now. I'm confused. Right, swig of tea. What time are we on? 4:30. Oh. I think it's time. I think it is time for stickies. What do you think? I think it is time for stickies. I think it is sticky time. I'll move this. I'll turn that round. So, Ass Ravel Airfix. I'm guessing this is a conversation we had at some point in the past, and I was doing like a swingometer. How bad is a kit? I don't know. Is it Airfix bad? Is it Ravel bad? Or is it ass? Now, I did try and clean this off to use my and I can't get it off now. It's permanently. So I guess I did. I guess I made a swingometer in a previous live stream at some point. Mordraka says the Scorpius came out last month. Why did I think it was last year then? I don't know. Hey all, sorry I'm late, says Clarky. Welcome Clarky and Dirty Llama Models. Greetings everyone. Greetings to both of you too. Clarky. Are you new to the chat, Clarky? I don't remember seeing your name before. But welcome. Dirty Llama. I always say llama like it's Welsh. Dirty Llama. I'm 100% certain, Fox. I sent you pictures from Warhammer Fest when it was revealed. So what? I don't know. Maybe I'm old now. My sense of time is all messed up anyway. It's what happens when you get old. Everything takes longer and is faster, so I don't understand. Right. As always, 3 stickers. Let's think of 3 words. Crackle. Mankini. Ew. And bulge. There we go. Crackle, mankini, and bulge. Right, so we have a crackle, a mankini, and a bulge. So we have a Festa 67's workshop. My very good friend Colin over at Festa 67 workshop. He's not been in chat for a while, but he's a bit poorly sick at the minute. He's a bit in a bit broken at the minute. So all the best to Colin. Get better soon, mate. Hope you back up and about soon. He's a bit poorly sick at the moment, so lots of love and hugs to Colin. So we have those 3. Now, this is where we do some sticker giveaways. So, if you've done this before, you know what's going to happen. If you've never played this before, basically, I ask a question, and the first person to get the answer correct in chat wins a sticker of their choice. Now, as always, don't forget, when you type an answer and it appears on your screen straight away, you don't see the actual YouTube chat. You're seeing your chat tailored to you. So when you type something, it appears instantly. In reality, it can take a few seconds to get to YouTube. And the chat that's here on the screen is the one I see, is the YouTube chat. So just because you're first on your monitor doesn't mean you're actually first. So don't assume that you've won a sticker if you're the first one in your chat. You're just seeing it tailored to you. There is, of course, other people could have got there first. Now, at this point as well, by this point in the show, there's always a lag between the video that you're seeing with all your eyes and the chat itself. So before we do anything, I need you to hit the refresh button on your browser. So press that button and drag the slider across to the right-hand side so you're fully up to date as possible. So refresh and drag, refresh and drag. That way there's a little lag as possible. And I shall give you a second while I do that. Nom, 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 nom. Crackle Mankini and Bull sounds like a really bad folk band from the late 60s. Yeah. I like that. Crackle Mankini and Bulge. It's a cereal you never want to eat. Trust me. You never want to give kids that cereal. David Butch, that man says, Dad. No, you're not allowed stickers. You're not allowed stickers, Dave. You know that. Well, you can have stickers, but you're not allowed to have stickers. You know what I mean. Doodle-doo. Refresh and put a dress on. No, Dave. No, says Dad. Right, so I've given you a moment. Okay, so what we're going to do, I am aware today that there is someone in chat who is not often available to watch and never wins a sticker, or very rarely wins a sticker. So there may be a little bit of an access ramp for the first question, but hey, it's my show. I can dispense these favours as I see fit. So. Are we ready for the first question, everybody? Right. You may or may not be a little bit of bias and gentle herding and shepherding in this question. Are we ready? And if this person doesn't get this answer right and win a sticker, I can't help you, basically. Okay, are we ready? Right. First question. Everybody ready? What is the name of Lynn's bird? Go. What is the name of Lynn's bird? If you don't get this right, then I can't help you. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doo. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doo. Hey! Yes! Speaker 8 says, which Lynn is the only Lynn in chat who doesn't win stickers, Lynn? Chris says Mankini. Kevin says Lynn Dipple. Dave says Wedge. Si says Smiley. Osric says 42. Lynn says Thy Creator. Prinker says Slodge. Si says Self-Titled. Lynn Dipple says Sweetie. Or Stweetie even. Stweetie. Yes, there you go. Lynn. Coincident. Kel Surprise. There you go. You have won yourself and Sticker Girl. There you go. Would you like Crackle, Mankini or Bulge? That's a very loaded question. Well done, Lynn. Which sticker would you like? You've got the Festa 67, you've got the Guru, or you've got the Goblin Gaming. Which one would you like? Do-do-do-do. If she spells it wrong, says Chris. You want Crackle. Crackle is Festa. Yay. So there we go. So that's Lynn Dipple. Lovely. I thought it was about time I gave you a bit of a chance. I'll give you a bit of a chance there. So well done, well done. There we go, that's one for Lynn. Remember, if you do win a sticker today, all you need to do is send me an email. My email address is always on screen. It's fox@modelmakingguru.com. Send me an email with your name and your address, and just put in the title of the email what sticker you've won so I know. I use my inbox as my to-do list. If you've won stickers before and you're still waiting for them, because I've got this bag full of stickers and things to send out that everybody's won, it does take me a long time to get to the post office, and right now with two broken toes, I ain't going anywhere near the post office. I'm a few months behind. If you're waiting for stickers though and you win another one, send me another email. If I've got 5 emails from you saying that I owe you a sticker, I know at least there's 5 stickers for you. So don't assume that because you're already getting a sticker, I'm going to remember to send you the next sticker. So there you go. Let's have a look. Right, so that's that one. So well done, Lynn. I should put that to one side. So we have a Mankini and Bulge. Mankini and Bulge. It's like a cop duo, 1970s cop duo. So let's have a think. I've got to think of a question now. Let me just check something very quickly. What's that? I'm checking something here on my telephonus. Okay, I now have a picture of David Eddings looking at Jeff's R2D2. That is awesome, dude. Minion! That is awesome. I can't show it on screen because I can't show my phone, but that would mean exposing you to my email, which gives people addresses away. Lynn says, throw in a Dad and Dave sticker, please. Dave says, sending Lynn one, can you send her one of my little ones? And Dad says, mine and Dave's are on the way to you, Lynn. Yes, Dad, if you ever need me to send you something, Dad's probably already sent it. Right, so that was that one done. So we've got 2 left. I've got to think of a question. Think of a question. Okay, here is a question. In my hand, I have a Citadel glaze. No, that's a rubbish question. Let's not do that one. It's rubbish. You've probably seen it anyway. Let's think of a more interesting question. I forgot to bring Guthorm out. Think of a question. That was a rubbish question. Fox, don't worry, Dad's done it. There, I know. Think of a question. Okay, here we go. Here's a question. If you've been watching earlier on, or if you watched the video where I was talking about doing the outlining on this puppy, the black outlining, I didn't use a paint. I used something else. What did I use to do the black outlining? Go. I mentioned it earlier, and also it's in the video as well. What did I use? I didn't use paint. What did I use? Simon Reynolds is straight in with India ink. Yes, well done. Well done, Si. You've won yourself either a mankini. Oh, God, I'd love... Yeah. Or a bulge. Oh, you've won yourself a mankini. Or if I accidentally slipped a mankini into the package. Then... So would you like one of mine, or would you like a Goblin Gaming sticker? Which would you prefer, Simon? We shall sit here quietly and look at you and stare and point silently until you tell me. I need your bulge, hang on, start again. It's not often I've been told that. I need your bulge, but it needs a squig. It needs a squig. Oh, okay. Oh, hang on. My pen's running out, and it's not a big pen. Oh, it's too big. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. If I can get it, if I can reach the damn thing. Come here! Oh no, hang on. I'm trying to get a pen. I've got a dad pen. Scaly Models dad pen. Who's just come in? LD's just come in. Hey LD. Welcome. He wants me to do a squig. Does that work? Yeah. So I've got to do a squig. Do a squig. I always know it. In my head I know what a squig looks like, but then I try and draw it and it never works. Big mouth. Lots of teeth. Nah. Big tongue. And they always come out looking terrible. It's kind of deformed squig. I've got it. I've run out of space. I've run out of space on my sticker. Oh, that didn't go well, did it? It's not a very good squig. They kind of look like they should have arms, and they feel bad because they've not got arms. There we go. There's a squig. Terrible squig. It's a really bad squig. Rawr. With a bit of a lanky foot. There we go. Bit of a tail going on there. Squig. Rawr. There we go. Fox, you pronounced it wrong again. It's Scally Models. Scally Models. There you go. Yep. So there you go, Simon. I've got to write your name on it, haven't I? Hang on. Si Reynolds. There you go, Si. So well done. That's yours. Your little Goblin Gaming stickers. Thanks, Fox. Now your bulge is bitey. Yeah, it's a bitey bulge. I love squigs. I must do it at some point. Right. Scale Model Muse sneaks in and sits down with her coffee. Wow. Ninja skills and minimum there, dude. Right. Last question. Fox, I want a fox on mine. Hang on. I've got to try and fit this in now. It might go off the side of the page. Doodle-doo-doo. And it's kind of underneath all the writing. And it's kind of more like a fennec fox, but never mind. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And he's got a massive bouffant hair, like, I don't know, it's gone a bit wrong, that, but you get the idea. Now I can't read who the sticker is out for, but never mind. There you go. Can't really see that very well on telly, but there you go. Wavy hand that went a bit wrong. There you go, Lynn. Oh, I can't read who it's for. There you go. Brilliant. Draw some rider snap swoops. I don't even know what... I know what those words mean individually. But... always sliding in sideways, Foxy says Muse. Yeah. What? I was here all the time. What? I've been here all the time. Quiet as a church mouse, mate. Quiet as a church mouse. Right, one sticker left. I'll put it somewhere. There it is. All that's left now, strangely, nobody ever picks the Mankini. I can't imagine why. So, we've got one left. So, you know what this is going to be. Right. On the back of my hand, I have written... Hang on, what's that? To be honest, I'd like more stickers to basically stick up on my model making backdrop. I stick my stickers on all my like toolboxes and painting things and boxes and stuff. Right, on the back of my hand is, just for those of you trying to be a smart arse and go early, is a letter of the alphabet. Go. What letter of the alphabet is on the back of my hand? You see, not a number at all. Nah. Diddly-dee, diddly-dee. LD says, I got one of those on my son got me for a giggle. Dirty Llama says, mine are on my paint booth. Do. Whoa, hello, the entire chat just exploded. Right, so the first person with the right answer is... See, Dave was having to go at that one there, and he's not allowed to. It jumped again. The first correct answer is Thy Creator with W. Yes, it is indeed. It's another sticker for that. You've got millions of them. You've got millions of stickers, buddy. There you go, another sticker for Thy Creator. So you know what to do. All of you, send me an email with your name, address, and put in the title of the mail that you've won a sticker and what sticker you've won. And at some point in the grim, dark future, at some point, I will get time and chance to go to the post office. The UK ones I can stick in the mailbox. The non-UK ones, at some point, I need to get to the post office at some point. And Chris, yes, I know, I've still got that. I've got to find an envelope to put it in that won't get it bent and out of shape, so that's why. And that requires going to the post office to buy the envelopes. So there we go. So well done to all you people who won the stickers. Well done, well done. How bad is this kit? Which is the worst? If you were to review a kit and you had, how bad is the kit? Is it Airfix, Revell or Ass? Which is the worst? If you had the little swingometer, which is the worst word to describe a kit? Not the actual brand, but if you is this kit as bad as Revell? Is it as bad as Airfix, or is it as bad as Ass? Which is the worst? Which is the worst rating for a kit to have? Right, let's see what the chat's doing. Do. Thy Creator says 1,229,938 Fox stickers to add to my collection. Mankini time. That was a fix. It was M when your hand was the other way up. How could I can't even get my arm that other way up. I can't get my... There's no way for me to... Unless I was sitting over there. Doodle-doo. Oh, hello. Let's have a look. What's this? Dirty Llama says Revell is the worst. Osric says Ass is the worst. Just watched Series 1 of Swamp Thing, says Earl D. So many questions and it's been cancelled. Yeah, pretty much. Revell kits give you a chance to fettle the plastic. They're not meant to fall together out of the box, says Beyond Hope. Yeah, that's why I don't like Revell kits. That could be true. But in my mind... they're just poorly made. I mean, they're all good. I've said this before. They're all good Revell kits. A lot of their curbside kits, their curbside car kits, are kind of simple, but they're nice kits. They're well built. They go together really well, and they do cars well. I don't do cars, but you could say they're doing this, so you've got stuff to work on, and, you don't want, as a model maker, you don't want everything to be spoon-fed to you all the time. You want a challenge sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But me personally, I've always said I'm not a builder, I'm a painter. I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. So I'm a painter, not a builder, so I find the build process boring. So to get a kit that I have to then fettle is like, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. That's my personal preference. But, yeah, I think, I don't know, with Revell, I think a lot of times, most of the time, it's not a case of they've got some fun you can have fettling them. It's more a case of they just churn them out and they don't really do a lot of quality control on them sometimes. Yeah, Airfix are much better nowadays. That's why Airfix is on there. Old Airfix is terrible. Modern Airfix, much better. Most of the good Revell kits are rebranded from far better manufacturers, says Kevin. Yeah. So yes, I mean, if you enjoy, the extra work of making the kit go together properly, then they do good kits. I do have a go at them a lot, but they do good kits. The 7C U-boat I did, the 172nd, that was dead long model, really nice. The hull was beautiful, went together like a dream. Minimal gap down the middle, so I could just fill it in with a bit of filler. No problem at all. I didn't expect, but then the stuff on the top above the deck, the details like the gun and everything else, the deck gun and things. Terrible. Moulded like a blob. No details. Oh, it was horrible. And that was in one kit. You had excellent and awful. So, I don't know. I will always point to their Star Wars kits and say, not acceptable. Right, let's have a look. But yeah, I'm a builder, so I have no interest in fettling, unfortunately. I mean, I do sometimes. And I've got used to kits that just go together beautifully. Really, I've never understood this logic of a kit's manufactured, and if it doesn't go together very well, then you can have fun building it and making it all fit together. It's like, well, why not just make it fit together in the first place? Games Workshop can do it, Bandai can do it, Trumpeter can do it, Dragon can do it, Fine Molds can do it, lots of companies can do it, but Revell just can't. There's always something. Right, I can confirm. Anyway, I digress. I can confirm there is crackle occurring. Yes, so we do have a crackle paint. It is indeed confirmed as a Grell Earth. Yes, kick ass. So there we go. Just because we didn't know. There's no guarantee that was a Grell Earth. Thy creator says, all right, sleep time. See you guys next week and get myself a Goblin Gaming sticker next week. I see. So you turn up, you grab a sticker and you go. Eat, shoots and leaves. I don't know. It's so rude. I don't know. Yeah, only joking. Kevin Reynolds says they can't paint for crap though. Yeah, that is the hilarious thing. It's the one thing I love about Revell kits is the box paint, the model on the box. It's so badly painted. They're always badly painted. It's like, wow, they hire somebody to just some third party to build and paint their model and take photographs. A few people around the world that do it, and it's always terrible. Look, the figures, like the figure series, they've got the 1/16th scale figures. The figures are all right, they're quite good figures, but the paint jobs are terrible. Oh, there's like who's the one? There's the US Marine Corps guy in like proper dress uniform, like the Arlington Cemetery type unknown soldier thing. And oh god, the paint job's so bad. Oh, so bad. Let's have a look. Beyond Hope says, Fox, to finish the point, you complete a Games Workshop kit in one stream. You can't do that with Revell kits. The enjoyment lasts more than one sitting. True. I mean, I do concede that if you enjoy that part of the process, then there is a lot of mileage there. Yeah, you're not going to build it in one go. There will be a lot of fettling to do. I just think that's often a crutch, though, for the fact that Revell can't do a kit that doesn't have stuff you need to fettle with. I mean, if that's what you enjoy doing, that's what you enjoy. And they do good stuff. Like I said, they're curbside car kits. They do billions of them. Nobody kind of does that kind of car kit in that kind of quantities, and they are good. But it's to each their own. To each their own. I'm not going to tell someone they're wrong for liking them. My personal opinion is I don't like their products, but I'm not going to tell someone they're wrong for liking them. Somebody said mud. Scale Model Muse says, nice squishy looking mud even. It's not meant, it won't be for long. It's a crackle paint, so it will actually dry out and go all crickly crackly like a dry lake bed. It's a Grell and Earth, so I was hoping it had kind of half dried by now, but it's got a long way to go. For some reason though, it's one of those hit and miss things. Sometimes you do it really thickly and it comes out with tiny little crackles, and sometimes it comes out massive crackles. It's the SWAT one I remember. David Butcher model says, bad experience with Revell, did the VW buggy and half the plastic was missing from the body, just not enough plastic injected in the moulds. 3 emails with photos and not a single response from Revell. However, having said that, I got the Revell Colonial Viper. Now, I built the Mobius Colonial Viper. The Revell Colonial Viper Mark II is just a rebox of the Mobius one. A lot of the stuff that Revell do is they just rebox it. They say, can we do that? And the Revell Mobius Colonial Viper, weirdly, was the same tool, same moulding, but they had a different pilot figure, which is weird. I don't know why. I can't remember. The pilot figure in the Mobius kit was resin. So in the Revell version, they had the plastic figure. The pilot figure was actually better in the Revell kit. The decals were far superior. The Revell, one thing Revell do really, really well, and I will not fault them on it, is decals. Their decals are really, really good. A lot of times they do actually use cartograph, which is interesting. So Revell do really good decals. Their pilot figure was better. The plastic was a bit better to work with in the Colonial Viper, but there was some warpage. I mean, major warpage. The back end of the Colonial Viper, before you put the engines on, it's supposed to go like that. It was like that. So I had to do some, boiling water bendy to get it back in. Now, this is the same mould that Mobius. It was just the same mould from Mobius. They just got the mould from Mobius and relabeled it as their own on the box. So I don't know how they messed that up when they didn't even design the mould. So they messed that up. And there was a part missing. I had a missing part. I mailed them, I mailed Revell, and I basically got a replacement part within about a week. So I can't fault them on that. For customer service, the replacing stuff was brilliant. And yeah, I have to give them praise for the decals. They do excellent decals more often than not. Mobius decals, they're the worst. If you ever buy a Mobius kit, I bought the Mobius Colonial 1. Beautiful looking kit. I'm a bit disappointed it was a bit small. Beautiful looking kit. Would have looked fantastic. And then I realised that half of this design on the side was water slide decals. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. Mobius water slide decals. Yeah, I never got round to building it. I think I gave it away as a prize in the end. I never got round to building it because the one thing that put me off was it was for the Colonial 1 livery, Battlestar Galactica Colonial 1. All the livery was there. And it would have been fantastic. But thinking about those decals put me off because Mobius decals just fall apart and rip with the slightest provocation. They're horrible. I mean, they're going back 2 or 3 years. They might be different now, but they're horrible. I love the crackle stuff, says Muse. Yes, crackling yummy, says Earl D. Revell was down for a long time. They just got back into production, says Muse. Isn't there like some part of America Revell that fell over and the German Revell is still going? I can't remember how it's like a nightmare labyrinthine corporate structure. Because I know Revell is German, but then the Revell USA was like AMT and MPC and all the other Ertl and stuff that kind of all got bought out. It's really confusing. Do. German engineering quality is a myth. Never trust a country where you can't get good coffee, says Spid. Spid is all about his coffee. So beyond that, didn't mean to rib you there. Beyond hope. I'm not saying you're wrong. You appreciate that. You appreciate that side of the kit, all the extra work you can do, and that's your thing. So cool. Not for me though, unfortunately. So I think they're not ideal for painters. They're great for makers, maybe. But like I say, I've built good Revell kits. I have built good Revell kits. So more just for the comedy. Anyway, Paul says, yes, Revell US went under. Revell Germany is the only one operating now. Well, they are changing the way they work because now they've got the Star Wars license to redistribute Bandai Star Wars. So they're doing something right. You got to give them credit for that. Is it not done yet? Oh, yeah, we're getting some crackling around the edge. Tiny crackling. I'm tempted to get the hairdryer on it, but even when you hairdryer it, it takes forever. And I'll be there for so long that the hairdryer will probably break my easy line. So, yeah, we'll just have to sit and wait. What's chat doing? Let's have a look. LD says, Scale Model Muse says they restructured everything. Cool. Don't hairdryer it, says Kev. Yeah, I know. I won't anyway, because it doesn't actually work as well if you hairdryer it. And plus, like I say, by the time it dried out, my easy line would have withered away and snapped. And yes, it doesn't actually work with hairdryer. So in that case, Beyond Hope says, Fox, no offence taken, everyone has their own opinions. No one is right or wrong. Depends what you want out of the hobby. It's your model and your choice. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's the best way to think about it. It's like, I would never even think about giving someone money to buy a wooden kit, like a ship kit or something, because that's proper full-on build. And more often than not, they have lots of issues because they're just, wood, like the Amati boat kits. They have some issues. They have quality issues, some of those. But they're full-on proper wood kits, and it's like, as a painter, not a builder, I'd just be in hell. I'd be in absolute hell. Watching TK build his Viking longship. Wow. There wasn't one moment watching TK, because he filmed the build, and although it looked fantastic when it was finished, every time I watched one of the episodes, it was just, I was hiding behind the couch because I was like, it was just, stress, man. Stress. Some of their car kits are excellent, says Speedy Curates, but boxes, however, let's have a look. Try Gillo's balsa kits. They are fun, says Beyond. No, yeah, me and wood. No, again, when I was at school, we had woodwork and metalwork, and I didn't really enjoy either because I'm not practical at all. That's why I don't enjoy the building part, because I can't do the building. I'm just useless. That's why I don't do a lot of like custom modding of kits, because I really do suck at that. I can't do it. Right, I need to do something. No, what time are we on? 5 o'clock. Let's get these fellows back then. What were we doing in the last episode? Well, let's move this out of the way. Away it goes to the side. I don't know what's in this tea I'm drinking. It's Barry's tea, but I don't know what's in this tea, but when I burp it tastes like spaghetti hoops. I don't really understand that. Muse says, I loved wood and metal shop in school. It was the only girl in the class and I knew more than the teacher. I kind of did enjoy metalwork purely because the metalwork class had a forge. It was the days when, you had the classroom was a row of desks, proper hardcore desks, row of workbenches, and then behind you were all the drill presses and stuff, and then there was a whole goddamn forge with the coal and the anvil. There's a whole forge in the classroom, and I've actually got to ding the anvil and and I made a thing and all kinds of stuff. I made some twisted ironware for the, what was it? It was like a hanging basket frame that goes on the wall, and it's got all twisted metal and stuff. That was great fun. I did enjoy that. Right, where's all my cutty tools and my finely tools and my sandy tools? There we are. Muse says, a row of workbenches and the land of fire, lol. Yeah, so that was fun, but unfortunately I did enjoy that a lot more than woodwork, because woodwork, compared to the classroom where there's a goddamn blacksmith's forge at the back of the classroom, woodwork was just namby-pamby nonsense. It was just plane and sand and zip, and I was like, there's no anvil. This is not fun. So woodwork, I just didn't understand. I was like, it was as foreign to me as maths, basically, woodwork was. But metalwork, I enjoyed it, I just couldn't do it. I mean, anybody can just smack a piece of metal with a hammer on an anvil and make it look reasonably flat. That was great fun. Oh, it's brilliant. My dad used to build things from matches, says Snowman. Cool. E-models actually have a section on matchstick kits. I don't think there's actually anything in there in a minute, but there is actually a section for matchstick kits. More Draka says, get the Hachette Parkwork Victory. That will make you pull all your hair out then, Fox. Yeah. Wooden boat kits are anathema to me, but then a Parkwork wooden boat kit, even worse. Right, so last week, if you remember, I am going through my Warhammer Conquest issues. I was filming these, but I've had to pause while I'm doing lots of other things. But to save the space of all these things piling up in the post, I'm taking time to just at least get them all built, and then I can store them in skirmish boxes and up on cabinets and on shelves and things out of the way in boxes. And I was building last time issue 29, which is some Space Marine officers. I think we built the first two. We built the Intercessor Sergeant and the Hellblaster Sergeant, so now we have to build the Space Marine Capitan. Let's have a look. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. I spent a year making a 1 metre wingspan wood model of Leonardo da Vinci's man-powered flyer. I had to recreate almost each piece because the kit's parts were awful. Yeah. Earl D ordered some 1.6 scale gun, 1 to 6 scale guns from... I'll start that again. Earl D has ordered some 1/6 scale guns to mod for some Gundam builds. 16cm Gatling gun is one. Wow. Awesome. Muse used to love cutting things in woodshop. Something about the saw in all of its types. I used to love the smell of woodwork. The smell of woodshop is great. I couldn't do it at all. David Butch, that model, says, years ago I built the MRT 1930s America's Cup racing boat thing, resin hull with lots of wood strips and cloth sails you had to saw yourself. Ah. Now Ted is your boat builder, go-to boat builder dude. Ted is the man that Scratch built, like, 10-foot long destroyers and tugboats out of basically almost nothing. Insane. 17, 18, 16 and 15. Or some would say 15, 16, 17 and 18. So 15 is a bonce. Now if you remember, these are quite big nubs, so I'm going in with my Games Workshop hedge cutters first. And I'll clean them up in a second. 15, 16, 17 and 18. 15, 16. Do you know what I can hear outside? This is going to be completely irrelevant to you, but I've just realised, because I've got the window open, I opened it earlier, I've just realised what I'm actually hearing outside. I can actually hear sparrows. Now that might just be, you might be like, what? Why is that a good thing? It is a good thing for me because many years ago we used to have a juniper bush in the back garden, and it was massive. And all the sparrows in the world lived in this juniper bush. Billions of them. I mean, literally billions. I mean, literally billions. All the sparrows that ever existed and ever will lived in this bush. And it was dead noisy, but they were dead cheerful, and they were great because you watch them bobbing about. They were dead fun little birds. And then the juniper bush got removed about 10 years ago, and the sparrows went away, which was a shame. But also, sparrows are kind of on the decline anyway, because there's less and less. They live in hedgerows and stuff, so there's less and less sort of suitable environment. And they all went away, and it was kind of sad. And we just kind of started to disappear and slowly vanish. However, I'm not even looking at the part numbers, I'm just picking pieces off the sprue. However, for some reason, they've suddenly started reappearing in our garden. And it's like, yes! It's a long time since I've actually heard the little sort of Star Wars laser pew pew sound of the sparrows. So it's nice to have them back in the garden. They're just little fuzz balls, little tiny balls of fuzz. Especially when you see them bobbing around on the grass. They're just like little round boys. Beep, 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 beep. Dead cute. Dead cute. I haven't fed the birds yet today though. It's been raining all day. Doodle doo, doodle doo, doodle doo. We got a little Mama Fox bought this thing, and it's supposed to be like a... Because we've got a squirrel in the garden, as well as birds. But the squirrel just raids all the bird seed. It's like... Oh. And if you do like a hanging birdseed thing, it just chews it away and chews all the plastic. So it's like, oh, hello. So Mama Fox thought, I'll get it like a... It's like a box with an openable lid, and it's supposed to give the squirrel a little tiny bit of a challenge. You've got a box, you can see the peanuts inside, but you can't get to them. So it has to figure out to open the lid and go inside and get them. And I hung it up on this piece of wood. I've got a piece of wood in the garden. I hung it up, attached it to the piece of wood. It's hanging in the garden so the squirrel can get to it. And the squirrel figured out the puzzle very quickly by simply just breaking this thing off the piece of wood it was nailed to and making it drop on the floor, and all the peanuts fell out. And we were like, we've got one of those squirrels. Oh, little pain in the butt. I was like, that's not how you're supposed to do it, dude. You're not supposed to figure out how to get to the sweet contents, peanuts inside, by just breaking it. Ugh. So yeah, we've got a vandal squirrel basically. Not interested in puzzles, just wants the sweet contents, and will do anything to get to them. It's like, get. I don't know. kind of fun. We've got 2 squirrels, actually. But what we got? We've got 2 squirrels that we know of. We have a couple of cats that appear in the middle of the night. Got next door's cat who appears in our garden and just ignores us completely. It just turns up and then sits and looks at you as if to say what, and then just walks out again. I was kind of hoping it would just be dead friendly and come and say hello, because then it's like having a cat without having to actually have a cat. But no, it's aloof is an understatement. We have lots of wood pigeons. They're always around. We have a couple of magpies. I think it's like a mother and a youngling, because there's one that is very skinny, which is really weird. It's kind of really, it looks like a magpie, but it's all the wrong colours, as in magpie's like white with black bits. This one is like black with white bits. It's all reversed. It's really weird, and it's got the body of a jay rather than the body of a blackbird. It's very lithe and slim and svelte, which is very weird, but they're quite cool. What else we got? We've got all the little tiny little blue tits and little tiny brown things. I can't remember what they're called now. Dunnocks and things like that. Little tiny birds. They kind of bob around and scoop up the nuts, hoover up the nuts on the floor, the bird seed on the floor. Because the wood pigeon will go into the bird feeder, the tray, and just like that and go through the seed, just throw half the seed out. It's very annoying. I can't get my clippers in here now. So the little birds now, they just wait until the wood pigeons come in and then go up and clean up all the stuff the wood pigeons threw out. Bless them. What else have we got? Blackbirds, of course. Got blackbirds. Nothing nicer than the song of a blackbird first thing in the morning. When it's in summer, I like to go to bed in the evening. I like it in the summer when it's warm, because I have to go to bed in the evening and leave the window open because it's too warm. But that means you wake up in the morning with the song of the blackbird in your window. It's like nice. What else have we got? Obviously, there's spiders everywhere. Garden spiders, many garden spiders. I always used to believe that garden spiders never had this unwritten agreement that they never come in your house. They just live in the garden. We had 2 of them in our kitchen. It was like, oh, come on, lads. They made webs across the kitchen window, and it's like, okay, you're supposed to never come in the house. Let me evict you. What else we got? I think now. There is a fox around here. It doesn't live in our garden. There is a fox. Could hear it the other day shouting. We used to have a fox living in our garden. We used to have a vixen and her cubs living under our garden shed, because our garden shed has just been left to fall apart over the years. It's not used, so it's kind of become a pile of wood now. They used to live under that. It was kind of cool. But I don't know where this one lives. We get like frogs and stuff. There's a robin as well. I forgot we've got a robin. Robin and its missus. That come around. Ooh, wrong one. Illuminator Arts and Crafts. So I just joined. What are you building today, Foxy? Hey, Illuminator Arts and Crafts. At the minute, I am snipping a Space Marine Captain off the sprue. However, today I have been working on my Borderlands style. I keep calling it the Matalan Ridge Racer, but it's the Achilles Ridge Runner, painted in a Borderlands style. I've just been working on the base today. The model's fully built and painted now, with its Borderlands style outlines. I'm just working on the base. So I've put down some crackle paint on there, some Agrellan Earth, to get a nice crackly, dry dust, dry lake bed texture. And I was hoping it'll have dried after about half an hour, 45 minutes, but it's going to have another hour or 2 yet. Oh, never mind. So while we've got an hour to go, I'm just filling time and cutting out this Space Marine Captain. This is issue 29 of Warhammer Conquest. Explaining a moment ago, I've subscribed to it, but because I'm not able to work on it for a few months, they're just piling up each month as I get the issues. So I'm just getting them built and put in a box, or built and put on a shelf. I'll come back and paint them later in the year. Torg, says Paul Di Tommaso. Yeah. Punch him so hard he explodes! I don't think you were here, Paul, when I explained earlier on that because it's got the rocket launcher on the back, it does, of course, therefore have to have Torg checkers on it, because Torg is all about explosions and rockets, so that's why it has the checkers on the back. And then somebody pointed out it looks like a yellow cab, New York cab, and it's like, that's one of the other things that I was kind of thinking when I did it, to make them black and white. So I like Mr. Torg. Right, so that's all the knobs. So now we have the cleanup. Yay! I'll do the head last. Quick look at the chat. Muse says we've got plenty of sparrows here. You can have some of them. Yeah, I like sparrows. Sparrows, like when you see, we used to have a sun lounge at the back of the house. Not got any more. We used to have this, like, it was a flat roof and sloped roof, and the sparrows would move around on it, and they'd be like this little ball of fuzz, like they're like that big, little ball, and it'd go. You didn't never see the legs. They go, and they just bob about on. It was like dead cute. You could sit and watch them for hours. Remember a friend started showing me a huge 15-foot or so scratch-built remote control warboaty thing with boomsticks on the top bit and lights and stuff. Took him something like 2 years of evenings and weekends. Yeah, those kind of builders. You don't find them around much anymore. They're all old. Most of them are dead now. I've got the Life of Brian bit in my head with a naked dude shouting, "Hey, my juniper bushes," says Dave. Stored in the little brick outhouse was this big massive boat, says Spid, that ran the length of his house because he wasn't permitted it indoors. Such a shame. Way more patience than me. Squirrels are just jerks, says Muse. I don't mind our squirrels. They're kind of cute. Did the Vandal Squirrel have a street gang bandana? Asked Quano Man. He just had tattoos. Let's have a look. Craze says Muse says squirrels are just jerks. Spid says greys are, but they're cute. Reds are fun and cute, but the greys decimated them here. Yeah, I've never in my entire life seen a red squirrel. Our native squirrel is the red squirrel, and unfortunately the grey squirrel was introduced from, I think, from the US or from Europe, mainland Europe, at some point, and they've just wiped out almost the red squirrel population to the point that I've never seen a red squirrel. The very few places you can actually find them nowadays. I can't remember if they're endangered here in the UK, but they're certainly a protected species. Greys are actually considered vermin, whereas reds are, I think, if I remember right, I could be wrong, but if I remember rightly, reds are actually protected by law. And I'm in the wrong place completely, aren't I? Reds are protected by law, but greys are classed as vermin, I think. I could be wrong on that. Because of an invasive species, so. Mew says we've got the furry vandals in all colours all over the place here. Dunnocks, do they make tea cakes? Oh wait, that's Tunnocks. Oh, now I want some Tunnocks caramel bars. Oh. Dave says a poem. Am I really going to? I'm going to read this before I read it out because I know what Dave's like. There we go. A poem. As I awoke one morning, I woke up with a yawn. A robin sat upon the sill to greet the brand new dawn. He sang his song so sweetly, his chest puffed out and red, that when I brought the window down and whacked him on the head. There you go. Just to make sure it wasn't something rude. He's building suspense prior to modelling his Mankini Illuminator, says Speedy Q8. Oh. You need to go to the Isle of Wight to see red squiggles. I'm glad somebody else calls them squiggles. I call them squiggles. How do you protect a critter that interbreeds? They all mix. Over here, you don't. They don't. I don't think reds and greys. There's no kind of mixed population. It's just red or grey, I think. From the US, the reds are a very rare sight. They're everywhere in Germany, though. I'm sure I've got some video of some of the German ones. Yeah, I think they came from the US. I think you're right there. Greys are classed as vermin, but you're not allowed to kill them. They are still covered by the Wildlife Act. Yes, that's true. In the UK, pretty much everything is classed as wildlife, and it's illegal to kill pretty much anything. Rats and stuff maybe, but even things classed as vermin. It might be classed as vermin, but you've got to have a license to exterminate them. So if you want to take out the squirrels in your garden, yeah, good luck with that. Right, let's get this sandy going on. Doodle-doo-doo. Off to teach my nephew who Blade is. Have all fun Bye, says Snowman. Okay, thanks for coming in, Snowman. Have a good one. Do. So let's get this little nub here. It's hard to get to this nub without... Get my knife blade back in. This nub is in just the wrong place for any kind of sanding. What a pain. It's really hard to get a sanding stick in there. I can get my file in there. But I'd prefer to be able to file it and then sand it back, but meh. Sometimes you have to call out Games Workshop for their bad nub choices. Bad choice, nub! Yeah, it's nice to hear those sparrows. We had them the other day when it was sunny and they were there for a bit and we thought, oh, they were just passing through. But hearing them out there now, it warms the cockles of my heart to hear them out there doing sparrowy... Oh, I can't get the sun down there. To hear them doing sparrowy stuff. All is right with the world. And I can get a sanding stick in there. Woohoo! Yes. Illuminator Arts and Craft says, I think he's mistyped there. I've just got my Robo Gullyman and I'm ready to carve him down and make myself a custom Primarch. Anyone have some ideas on what I could do? You could let your imagination run wild and make the Primarch that doesn't exist. Isn't there's supposed to be some Primarch who there's no record of who it is? It's all like files have been destroyed and there's no trace of this mysterious Primarch that nobody seems to know. In the same way, there's a legion, a Space Marine Legion, that is just nobody has any information on them. Whenever you get a poster, or you get anything that's got like lists of Space Marine chapters, there's always one that says like redacted, and nobody knows who they are. Dave says, I'm convinced that Fox spends more time sanding than all the demon entrants every year combined. I'm really, really fussy about getting rid of nubs. And I probably do. It's why it can take me an hour and a half just to make one single bog standard Imperial Guard grunt figure. The other day, I literally built one dude in about 2 hours. Didn't paint him, just literally built one Imperial Guard dude. I mean, it was a nightmare with a million nubs. He wasn't the best quality figure, but at the same time, it did take me that long. Just clean him up. Because I get really picky about nubs and stuff and sanding. I always forget that, when you put a primer on, it covers all your little micro scratches. I always forget that. So I just try and I don't try and get it back to shiny plastic, but, A little bit of a nubulation, but not for long. Away you go. There we go. It's no more. It no longer exists. Open sand and clear on Zulu. Roger. Open sand and clear on Zulu. How's that looking? That's looking a bit sandy. Let's just get that smoother. Smoother. Got to be careful. There's little details sculpted into it. I don't want to... I tell you, I keep stabbing myself on these spikes. I just know I'm going to break those spikes off at some point, and then it'll be sadness. I also hate the fact there's a seam line right down the middle of these things, these spiky parts, that you can never get anything in there to sand them. Muse says, okay, it's time to adult, but I don't want to later. Oh, thanks for coming in, Muse. Sorry you have to go and be grown up. It sucks though, doesn't it? We got tons of sparrows here in New Mexico, says Lynn. Cool. Bazooka practice is safer as long as it's pointed the same way, not like Dawn Ray Chong, command styly. I don't know what that means. Primarchs of the 2nd and 11th Legions are who you were referring to, Fox. Yeah, that nobody knows who they are, maybe? If the spikes break, it's just battle damage, says Richard Gibbs. Yeah. You kind of want captains to look nice and neat, though, don't you? Maybe. Have I got any seam lines on this? I've not even been looking for some. I need to... I've got hiccups, but they're kind of acidy hiccups. I've not even eaten anything today. What have I got acidy hiccups for? God damn it. I think my own body is just broken in every way possible. Any seam lines? Well, I've got that mould line on here, but I can't really... I can get the one at the end. I can carve that with a knife. I don't like carving seam lines with a knife, but sometimes you have to. But the ones between, there's barely enough room to get a knife in there. And if I make a little scratchy mark trying to get rid of it, I've got no way to sand it. I think I may have to just be heretical and not worry about that little seam line, I think. Forgive me, Si. I know I'm leaving a seam line. It's heresy, I know. But yeah, I can't even sand that. I think we should have a poll on size demon entry for next year. I'm saying Boomdacker, Snazwag, and anybody else. I don't think vehicles would tend to win, do they? It's always awesome looking figures in amazing poses, I think, isn't it? That tend to win. Unless it was a whole diorama. Swordy hand. Ba-ba-da-ba-boom. Yoffie lifts a finger. Yeah, finger bobs. Finger mouse. Whichever the proper original series was. When I was a little kid, I used to grow up and wanted to be Yoffie. Most people in the chat won't know what that is, but... BBD, got them head now. Yoffie lifts a finger. And I can't remember the second name. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was watching some clips of... Here's the thing for the British TV, right? 1980s British TV. 70s. Most of you won't know what this is. I was watching some clips of Pipkins the other day. And yeah, I hadn't seen Pipkins since I was a kid. And there's no point me trying to explain it for anybody that doesn't know what it is. But for those that you do, I never realised, because I've not seen it since I was a kid, how actual adult Pipkins actually was. Not necessarily all of it, not the whole thing, but the character of Hartley Hare was so completely adult. I mean, he was camp. He was obviously a gay character, but this isn't like the 1970s. But it was also like he was kind of, it's irrelevant anyway, that's the way he was portrayed. But he was a real petulant, self-obsessed, kind of me kind of character. And it's like, wow, this is such mature characterization for a children's program. Really weird. I'd never noticed it before because I was a little kid when I used to watch it. So watching it back now, it's like this is like Harold. This is like an Alan Bennett play or something. This isn't children's TV. This is a Mike Leigh series. This is like Nuts in May for kids or something. It's ridiculous. It was amazing. The other characters like the turtle and the pig and stuff, they were just generic children's TV characters. But Hartley Hare was like straight out of a Mike Leigh play. It was amazing. There's one where I think Pig makes something and Hartley gets dead jealous because Pig gets all the praise for inventing something. And Hartley's like, I can invent things, I can make things. What? I can do that. Meh. And he goes all sulky and it's like, wow, such a great character. Lumen Arts and Crafts says, giving a miniature an awesome pose is always a must for me. Like with my Castellan, I had to mod the legs to work in a different position than they're meant to because the leg pose was boring. Yeah, I don't think you were earlier on when we were talking about some other things, but the whole point of, I was talking about the whole thing of being either a builder or a painter or both. And there are some people who are like builders and painters. and they can do all the customization and modding and stuff like that, and they love doing that, and that's their bag. Then you get the builders who just enjoy the buildy part, but they have no interest in painting and stuff because they don't think they can do it. They believe they can't do it. And then you get people like me who are just painters. So, I can build a model. Building a model is not a problem at all, but I don't enjoy the process, the build process, like this. Clean up and assembling and stuff. It just doesn't, I have no interest in it at all. For me, the fun is in the painting. So for that kind of customization of hacking a figure around and chopping it up and changing the pose and things, I'd love to be able to do that because I can see the potential benefits, but I just hate it. Here we go. Well, it's cloning in on the Hour of the Wolf, or closing in the Hour of the Wolf, down under. Technically, between 3 and 6 is the 3 hours of the wolf, because that's my surname. So it's 3 hours. You're watching the wolf. I'm heading for some rack time. Catch you all next time, says Mordraka. Thank you very, very much for joining us, more. And we'll see you next week. G'day, bro. Beyond Hope. So here we go. Right. Yoffie lifts a finger and a mouse is there. I couldn't remember the words. Puts his hands together and a seagull takes the air. I can't remember the tune though, unfortunately. Yoffie lifts a finger and a scampi darts about. Yoffie bends another and a tortoise head peeps out. Yeah, I used to love Finger Bob. Not Finger Mouse. Finger Mouse was the later series where it was all about music and that was rubbish. But Finger Bob was only 13 episodes. Or was it the one? It was Finger Mouse. And it was like, it was great. I didn't know, because the guy that played Yoffie was the Canadian guy from Play School, but I didn't know that, because he looked dead different. I saw something, I had to go and look up who the guy that played Yoffie was, because I was fascinated by the guy. Doodle-doo. Also, such a 1970s character name, Yoffie. He had an awesome dark turtleneck and a beard. Awesome. Yeah, Fox Concert, says Lim. I've got to be careful what I sing, though, because, Doodle-doodle-doo-doo-doo. Rick Jones, that's the one. Yeah, so I don't enjoy the buildy part. It's not something I've ever enjoyed that much. I get very bored and impatient, and I've got scores of kits over the years that I've started to build, and I've never got to the painting stage because the build has just bored me so much that I've just got distracted and done something else. It was a miracle that I ever finished the Fine Molds Millennium Falcon, because that's massively that was like 900 parts, and that to me was a big kit, because it's like, for somebody who doesn't like the building part, that was a pain, but it was kind of enjoyable as well. And then when I had to do my second one, of course, I'd already built the first one, so it was a lot faster. I don't mind the building when I've done one bit already and I know what I'm doing. That's not very good, but yeah, the building part, no. A few of you have asked, by the way, and a little bit of an update, as in there's no update. A few of you have asked about the D'Agostini X-Wing series, when you'll get the next episode. If you remember, I was doing the massive D'Agostini Let's Build an X-Wing thing. And the simple truth is that I haven't heard back from either the PR company, the Spanish PR company, or D'Agostini themselves as to what the hell's going on. If you remember, they approached me and said, hey, the PR company approached me and said, hey, would you like to do a collaboration? We'll send you all the stuff, just get the thing built and film it. I'm like, yeah, sure. So they sent me the first 3 issues, and since then I haven't had anything else. I mailed the guy and said, hey, are we still on for this? Because I've not had the next few issues, and all my colleagues who are doing it, they've had all their issues. Now they're up to issue 4, 5 and 6, and I'm like, I've not had anything. And he said, all right, I'll give him a shout for you. And I said, okay, but is there, because the difficulty is they've subscribed me themselves, so I can't just log in and see where my order is, or anything, because there isn't one technically. They've just set me up an account at their end, so I don't have any way to access that. So I can't see if I'm due anything or when it's coming, or I've got no way to go online and raise an issue with D'Agostini. So I have mailed them. I'm going to mail them again, because it's been like a couple of months now. I'm going to mail them again, I think, tomorrow, and say, is this even happening, mate? Because it was incredibly awesome of them to say, we'll send you every issue. It won't cost you a penny. We'll automatically subscribe. You'll get them all. You just build them and stuff. Because it's free PR for them. And I was like, yeah, brilliant. I'm not going to complain about this, because it's like £1,000 worth of stuff. That'd be brilliant. That'd be incredible. It'd be a great opportunity. But, if it's not going to happen, then that's fine. It's not like I'm losing out money-wise, but I'm not spending money. But if it's not going to happen, that's fine. I just want to know so I can not have to account for it in my scheduling. So it's a bit pants, really. I need to know what's happening with it. It's like, if it's still going ahead, brilliant. I can make sure I account for that in my planning. If it's not going ahead, then I can move on and forget all about it. It'd be a bit ass if it's not, because what's the point in contacting me saying they'll send me all the issues and it's a bit of collaboration and then just not bothering to do it? I don't know. Chris says he got issues 5 to 6 yesterday, except there's actually 3 and 4 in the box. Brilliant. Well, I've only had up to issues 3. I've not had issue 4 yet, so I don't know. Like I say, if it's supposed to be happening, that's brilliant. It really is an awesome opportunity for me to do, but if they're not, then I'd rather just know. I was tempted to just contact D'Agostini, because it's the Spanish company, the PR company. They contacted me. Never heard of him before. I did get the first 3 issues, but they didn't come from D'Agostini. They came from some company down south that makes boxes. It was like addressed to me, and it was from such and such packing company. And I looked them up, and they make packaging materials like boxes and bubble wrap and stuff. And I'm like, why are they sending them? What? So I've got no idea what's going on. You think they'd at least send you 4, 5, and 6, says Speedy Curate, hashtag all the episodes. Yeah, shut up. Shut up. Scrapey. Not too fussed about the bottom of feet. Don't really care. They're going to be glued to a base anyway. It's not the end of the world. If I've got a bit of nub showing on a foot, that's fine. Not really that important. He was the main actor in the BBC kids show Fingerbob, says Beyond Hope. Yes, that's what we're... Oh, I see you talking to JS Idaho. He was the only actor. It was him. And apparently, on the last ever episode, the last episode of Fingerbobs, not Finger Mouse, because that came later and was rubbish. The last ever episode of Fingerbobs, the actor playing Yoffie, while the cameras were still rolling, the actor with the Fingerbobs on his finger dunked it in a glass of water, drowned it on camera. I think I've seen it. I think it surfaced at some point and I've seen it. Yeah, that's definitely a way to say that's the last episode. Just drown the puppet. Yeah, get in. Tell you what I'm watching at the minute is The Mentalist. You know me, I like my binge watching. I always like to have something to watch while I'm eating my tea. And I'm going through The Mentalist. I'm on just started season 4. No spoilers, please. Just started season 4, I think. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying The Mentalist. I mean, it's obviously, it's just very, very influenced by Columbo in a lot of ways. I mean, strange, eccentric guy driving a European car. Yeah. Yeah. Not influenced by Columbo at all. But I like the fact of giving him a Citroen DX. That's kind of cool. Probably one of the few European cars that Americans would know, but there you go. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Now, the actor that plays LaRoche, the chief, in season 3. I don't know about season 4. I've only just started season 4. The guy that plays LaRoche, the chief in season 4, the head dude. The big fella with the nystagmus in his eyes. Great actor. I love his quiet voice. Quite mesmerising. He's a fantastic actor. But he was in House, and he played this guy in House. His character he played in House in one episode was this massively obese guy who was a restaurant critic. And the reason I remember this is because in that episode of House, and I've watched House like 3 times now, and I always leave it long enough that I forget each time, but whenever I see those episodes with that guy, I can't remember his name, while I was watching it, I'm thinking, is this the guy that plays Wilson, but just given lots of makeup and prosthetics to make him look massively obese? And for watching the first time I watched it, I was convinced that the guy playing the patient, the patient of the week, I was convinced that he was the actor that plays Wilson, but in makeup to make him look a bit. I was like, wow, I wonder why they've got him playing 2 different characters. And of course it wasn't. But even now, when I'm watching him in The Mentalist, I look at him and all I see is the actor that played Wilson in House. It's weird. It's like 2 totally different people, and yet, in a lot of ways, kind of very similar. Who's sending me emails? Nobody important. Yeah, so I was convinced it was the same actor. It's like, that's the guy that plays Wilson, just with makeup. That's weird. Why have they not just got a different actor? Mentalist spoiler, Red John is a killer. I kind of started to read that comment and was like, oh God, don't tell me, no, I don't want any spoilers. Anybody giving spoilers for anything I ever talk about is instantly banned, by the way. Insta bans for spoilers. What was I saying? I'm sure in the next few centuries, when people visit the YouTube Memorial Garden, Fox's epitaph will be, he never got past episode 6. Yes. It was too hot to do things, so I binged the new season of Veronica Mars and then the new series of The Boys. I don't know what any of those are. I have no idea what they are. I like ensemble stuff. Crime ensemble stuff is great, and I like stuff that's got a slight sense of humour to it. Castle House. I suppose you can count. Technically, you can count House as a detective thing because it's kind of medical detectiving, isn't it? House. What have we got? House. Got to think of them all now. House, Bones, Castle, The Mentalist. Any Star Trek, technically, because that's an ensemble cast thing, and they've usually got a little bit of humour in them. I thought it was basketball that played Wilson, says Dave. Yes, well done. Right, I've got a little rubber undersuit here for the back of his knees. Handy tip, if you can get it in there. I don't think it'll fit, but because there's a tube in the way, but when you get your seam line going down the middle, get your scribing tool and just gently pull it along the recess of the ribbed bit. Whenever you get like the little rib bits on the side of the arms, at the inside of the elbows or the knees, like I showed you for plasma weapons last week or the week before. Same principle. Just helps to get rid of that little bit of a seam line. I mean, you do actually paint them black anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The Boys is a new series on Amazon about superheroes. I have no interest in that. I don't do superhero nonsense. I can't stand things like Marvel and superhero nonsense. I will watch The Tick. That's acceptable. The Tick is acceptable. But yeah, I don't do superhero stuff. It just bores me silly. I love saying obvious things as spoilers, as humour. Albeit bad humour. Yes, you're allowed to give me non-spoilers. And coach them as spoilers. That's fine. Just nobody give me actual spoilers. Fox doesn't need to watch superheroes, he's got a TED. Yes. Yeah, it means I've never been into like superhero stuff. I don't know why, I kind of see it as a bit namby-pamby. I don't know. I've always had nothing but deep boredom from things, anything Marvel. Can't be doing Marvel. Marvel stuff is just, I think it's more because I couldn't stand the art style, the classic kind of Stan Lee 1980s and 70s Marvel style art. You used to look at it and go, wow, that's really badly drawn. used to hate it with a passion. One of my mates at school used to just constantly draw, you know, Marvel stuff. And I'd be like, dude, can you just draw something that's not crap? Just because it's like everybody's got tiny heads and square jaws and too many teeth, and it looks stupid. It's puerile and childish. Draw something else. It used to sit the wrong way with me that for that reason. And then I think that's probably why I hate Marvel. But then I was never really into all the nonsense. And the whole Marvel thing of, here's 35 minutes of exposition in one speech bubble. Ugh, really? Don't know, it never did anything for me. It's like the... keep knocking the camera, sorry. It's like the tick, heroes are DC rip-offs. Oh, if it's slightly humorous then, it might be worth me having a look. Fox, don't know, I've done that one. Seen an HBO trailer for the Northern Lights trilogy. It looks amazeballs. Got to be better than the pants fest of a neutered movie. I have no idea what that is. Right, I think that's got the seam line off his leggings. His leggage. I'll just put the leg back in there, haven't you, spoon? Is that one I've just done? Yes. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Now, with this guy, I'm not going to get to build him today, but I'm going to have to think carefully about building this guy, because he does have a cloak. So, as you can see on the instructions, you assemble this entire body, and then you attach the cloak at the back. Then you stick on the arms. I'm going to need to do a dry run test fit of all his bits, because the one thing I hate doing is, especially something with a cloak or a greatcoat, glue it all together, stick it on the base, and then suddenly you can't get to part of him or the back of it. You can't get to the inside of his cloak or his coat, or you can't get to the back of his leg because the base is in the way. So what I tend to do when I do these is, if I can leave the bit with the coat off, I will. So if I'm doing, say, Skitari, I'll build the upper half and the lower half, so the legs and the hips, that'll be glued to the base. The upper body with the flowy cloak or the great coat, that'll be kept separate, and I can paint inside the coat. With this guy, if I can get to the back of his legs with the cloak, then I'll just not glue him to the base, and I'll paint him and then glue him to the base afterwards. I'll have him on a stick. If I can't, then I'll need to leave that off and figure out how I'm going to do that later on. I'd rather have his arms all attached before I paint him, but sometimes you have to paint stuff off the thing. Chris says, right, I'm okay, I'm off, and I've got things to sort. Okay, thanks for coming in, Chris. Much appreciated, dude. I think I'm actually going to call it a day, because I'm down for a wee, and there's only 10 minutes to go. So I think what we'll do... have a swig of me tea, take off my helmet of seeing, because it's giving me a headache. I think we'll leave it there. What was I going to say? Yes, I need to go for a massive wee. So don't forget, of course, tonight, at 8 o'clock, 8 PM BST, so in a couple of hours, Chris will have his Warhamster show. Sundays, 8 PM BST. He does his Warhamster build. He's still working on his Mega Knobs, his Orc Mega Knobs. I think he's still painting those. So do make sure to come back after you've had your dinner and come and watch Chris's stream. I'll be in there. If I'm not in the middle of my dinner, I'll come and I'll join in the chat and stuff. Don't forget, as always, if you would like to help support this channel, thank you for everybody who's been watching. But if you would like to help support this channel, there's a few ways you can. First and foremost, you can become a patron on patreon.com/modelmakingguru. And you can support me. I live off the income I make from my patrons, which is the majority of my income, so I am super grateful and in awe and in debt to those people. So thank you to all my patrons. If you want to become a patron, go and have a look. Patreon.com/modelmakingguru. You can do anything you want from as little as $1 a month, which is what, about 70p a month upwards. If you want to, you can just do 70p a month. That gives you access to all the exclusive patron only content. And gives you access to non-patron stuff a week early without adverts, and there's other benefits, but go and have a look. Of course, if you'd like to help me less directly, you can do. This stream and this channel and this content is of course supported by Goblin Gaming. It's one of the UK's leading online tabletop retailer. I am an affiliate of theirs. There is a link just below this video for Goblin Gaming. They offer 20% off all Games Workshop products, 20% off Malifaux, 20% off Conflict 47, up to 20% off a lot of other stock, massive savings on pretty on everything else they sell. So if you're into your tabletop gaming, it doesn't just have to be Games Workshop. and you want to save yourself a massive amount of money, go and check them out. Link below this video. It is an affiliate link, so I actually make a little bit of income off every order you place. Every time you spend money with them, I get a little kickback from Goblin Gaming. So if you need to get your tabletop stuff, you want to save yourself a whole mess of money, go to the link below the video, go and use that link, save that link because that's my permanent affiliate link, and I'll make a little tiny bit of income. I'm checking my stats the other day. I've only been going for a couple of weeks, checking my stats from you guys from all the orders you placed, and you have placed quite a lot of orders. I've had quite a little bit of money coming in there when it comes to pay time. So thank you to all of you who've been placing orders through Goblin Gaming. You are helping this channel massively because you are actually giving me a source of income. So if you need to buy tabletop stuff, get it from Goblin Gaming, I should say. Get it from Goblin Gaming. They are awesome guys. They've also started a YouTube channel and stuff, and they are in the process of building a little studio on the premises, and that's only half an hour from me, so stay tuned for some interesting things in the future. Don't forget, of course, I do have an Amazon store, which is again the description in the video, link in the description below the video, and I do have a merchandise store with a limited selection so far, but if you want to buy yourself a Model Making Guru, a Boom Hut t-shirt or hoodie, go and have a look. There's some stuff in that. Again, link below the video. But that's going to do it. So thank you very much for watching to everybody. Has this thing dried yet? No, it's still going, but we are starting to get the crickle crackle now. So you'll see it anyway in the video. The video should be up, hopefully, because this is pretty much done apart from the base. So the video should be up in the next day or two. Part 2, a 2-part little series. I'll show you how I did that. But this means that the Sazabi will now have guaranteed a Borderlands paint job, as well as the Shanghai Dragons will have a Borderlands designed paint job with outlines, and I'm going to really enjoy doing it. So now this is done, this week will be Sazabi time. I'll be doing all the test building parts of the Sazabi. We'll get them filmed and built, and then we'll get the painting done. Remember, the Sazabi series is going to be Patreon exclusive, so if you want to watch the building and painting of that, you do need to be a Patreon supporter. However, I will be doing a little video, or 1 or 2 little videos for non-patrons, just a little update video to let you know where I'm up to, so you do get something. But if you want to watch that video build series, once I'm in the process of assembling it at the moment, but once I start the painting, it'll be a full video series how I paint it in the Shanghai Dragons and Borderlands paint scheme, so that you will need to be a patron to see that, so go and check it out. But anyway, enough waffle. I really need to go for a massive week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to go and watch Chris's Shenanigans 8 PM BST tonight, so in a couple of hours. I will see you all tomorrow at Monday at 9 PM BST on the eModels channel for the eModels live stream, the Monday night show. Be there or be somewhere far more boring. But until next time, I shall say thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your continued support. Whether you support me on Patreon or whether you support me just by watching my stuff, you're all brilliant. I love you all. I love all my children. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, go make something awesome. Go be awesome. You there. You, yes, you. And I shall say, adios amoebas. Oh, I'm in the wrong place for the button. Hang on, I've got the wrong glass. I can't. Oh, I've got me make. Hang on, I've got the wrong glasses on. I can't see the buttons. Oh, I told you I got new glasses, didn't I? Yes, new ones and new ones. Right, I've got the right buttons on now, the right glasses. Anyway, adios amoebas. Thanks, guys.